coverage to tell you about. Every Monday and Thursday after Action Sports Jax on ESPN 690 from 3 to 6, we're giving you more of what you want. More Action Sports Jax. From 6 to 6:30, myself, Casey Kurtz, and Brian Middleton will bring you Action Sports Jax Overtime. There's a lot of topics in sports, and sometimes we can't hit them all from 3 to 6. We'll hit them all on OT. So join us 6 to 6:30 every Monday and Thursday night right here on ESPN 690.
Broadcasting live from the ESPN 690 Anajar and Levine studios. Anajar and Levine Accident Attorneys. Call 904-600-4000. That's 904 WOKB Jacksonville. Listen live everywhere you go on ESPN690.com. ESPN 690, a Cox Media Group station.
This is SportsCenter.
I'm Christine Lisi. An encouraging update on Cowboys left tackle Tyron Smith from Coach Mike McCarthy today. He's practicing on a limited basis, could return from a bone spur in his ankle for Sunday's clash against the Chiefs. Browns quarterback Baker Mayfield plans to start against the Lions Sunday. Mayfield, dealing with an injured left shoulder, right knee contusion, and left foot soreness, says this is probably the most beat up he's been in his career. Jets start QB Joe Flacco against the Dolphins Sunday. NBA Warriors shooting guard Klay Thompson cleared for full contact. Another step forward in his return from a torn Achilles. When Thompson does return, he's joining the best team in the league, believes ESPN's Tim Legler.
You add a Klay Thompson to the mix, no question. They are going to be the favorite because they do it on both ends of the floor. And again, Steph Curry is so unique in his impact in the game and what he does to empower role players and how easy he makes the game for other people. I think the Golden State Warriors are the team to beat. They're the favorite.
Injured Mavericks guard Luka Doncic out tonight against the Suns, 10 Eastern on ESPN TV.
We're back Thursday getting you ready for Week 11 in the NFL. It's a week that includes Dak versus Mahomes, Rodgers versus Cousins, and Cam against his former coach, Ron Rivera. That's Thursday morning on Keyshawn, J. Will, and Max, ESPN Radio.
Broadcasting live from the ESPN 690 Anajar and Levine studios. This is Action Sports Jax on ESPN 690 with Brent Martineau and Austin Lane.
Hey, welcome in on a Wednesday. It's 1 week away from, really, Thanksgiving. I mean, obviously it's Thursday, but, doesn't the holiday really start on Wednesday? It will for us. We will not have a show next Wednesday. I'm actually heading home for a few days. First time in like 3 years, I think, been home. So we are going to be off Wednesday, Thursday, Friday next week. But we are here today. Austin Lane is not. He is getting ready for fight time. He's got a lot of prep work to do. He better have already done his prep work in terms of the fight. But he's got prep work to do in terms of the fight, blood work, and all these other things that you got to do now, COVID test. So he's got that happening this afternoon. Then he's off to Houston. And
I do have his golf pick.
Oh, that's good. You got it. Good,
yeah.
good. I don't even have mine yet.
Me neither.
And so then a big fight coming up on Sunday. I'm excited for Austin. This is really a cool opportunity. Since we started the show, there hasn't been this kind of opportunity for Austin in the fight game. And so he's slowly kind of worked his way back up the ladder to get a chance on Sunday. And hopefully everybody rooting for him, pulling for him, take a look at it on Sunday, UFC Fight Pass. I'm going to be selling a lot of UFC Fight Passes, I think over the next few days. But
I'm going to have to get one.
There's a reason for it, right? So that could be really cool. Hey, we know how it goes. You enter the arena, there's no guarantees, but a win over Juan Adams on Sunday for Austin would really propel him. We talked about it a little bit yesterday's show. If you want to know more from Austin's mouth on it, in the last segment of the show yesterday, we discussed kind of what it could mean. And it's not an automatic bid to the UFC, but it's a real decent chance to get up there. So that's how big of a fight. I think everybody knows from the fight game stuff, when he fought Greg Hardy, that was a big moment. That was a big opportunity. But that was kind of early in Austin's fight career. And he was pretty raw back then. And now you've got 3 years experience under your belt. And he's fought all different kind of fighters. And he's won a lot of fights. And so now get the opportunity again.
Has the momentum as well from the last fight.
Little momentum. The last couple fights, really. And he's got that momentum, and this is kind of more the natural route too. Like the thing about against Hardy was kind of the NFL guy, and it was really early on. It was like a big opportunity early in the fight career, but this is more back up the ladder and all those things that go into it, which I'm not even completely aware of, but I've learned a lot over the years from Austin asking him about it. So really cool stuff. We kind of underplay it because he'll be humble about it, but it's really a big-time opportunity coming up on Sunday for Austin there in Houston. So that's why he won't be with us next few days. I think he actually is flying back on Monday, too, so won't be with us Monday. And he's got one day of work, basically, over the next rest of the 2 weeks.
I mean sort of work in this building, at least. I was
going to say, depends how you call work in the cage.
Right.
Yeah, he's probably got a little harder work than us. So anyway, Brent Martineau, Casey Kurtz with you here on a Wednesday, Thursday, Friday as well. We got plenty to get to. I was down at Jags today.
I heard you.
Did you hear me?
Oh, yeah.
Or you were listening to yeah, I kind of asked a lot of questions today, didn't I?
You did.
Actually, Urban took a lot of questions. Like it
was long, yeah.
As a as somebody in our business, there's like a clock that goes off kind of in your head. That's like, okay, this interview, even if you're doing like a one-on-one interview, like, okay, this is going along with time. Like they might start losing interest here, right? We all have ADD to some degree. they might start doing that. So that felt long today. I was like, should I keep this thing going? But I wanted to ask him a little bit, and I thought Urban was really good on a lot of different topics, and so we asked him a bunch of different topics. We'll get into that. Receivers were the heavy topic today at Jags headquarters, and they continue to be. The amount of drops that are happening. I think someone brought up 18 drops is the number by whatever statistic you want to look at. I remember seeing that stat 2 weeks ago. I want to say it was the Seattle game, but it might have been even the win over Buffalo. But I think it was the Seattle game where they said 11 drops on third down. Like it led the league. 11 drops on third down. So think about that for a moment. And that was 2 games ago. So I don't even know how many of these drops came on third down in last week especially. I mean, those are points. Like those are, I mean, we know for one, like I know the one Dan Arnold had the interception down there, the goal line, and it went off his hands. But that was a turnover, so you cost yourself at least 3 points. It would have been a first down, might have cost yourself 7 points. So first downs, points, field goal opportunities, sustained drives, rhythm for the offense coordinator, rhythm for the quarterback, rhythm for the running game, rhythm for the receiving game. And right now, I mean, that's why I keep using out of sync, because this thing is not in rhythm when you're dropping 18 balls through 9 games. I mean, that's too much. You get paid to play on Sunday for a reason, and I think that's really hard on the young quarterback. I think it's really hard on an offensive coordinator. Listen, I'm not going to be the ultimate defender of Darrell Bevel, but I think when your offense is what they did the other day, the rookie quarterback made some mistakes. We know that's going to happen, but he made maybe even more than he has made in some games. The 5 drops, at the very least 5 drops, by the way, conservative count, which I don't even know if that's factored into the 18. Like, I don't know where their numbers, what they call a drop, but to our eyes, it was like 5 drops, and it might even have been more. And then 6 penalties on offense. I mean, what's the offensive coordinator really supposed to do if you're calling plays like that and you can't get in a rhythm? I mean, every play caller will tell you picking up that first down, the first down of a drive is where you start to gain steam and gain rhythm. People who like to move fast on offense, they need that first down to move fast on offense. And I'm not saying the Jags are going to move fast like and run 90 plays in a game, but still, you get the idea that you've got to be able to do that. And right now, the receivers just aren't helping out. Laquan Treadwell made a great play. But there are not many great plays for the Jags. There are not guys making plays. And over the years, we've talked about a lot of bad offense around here. And what I would always say, and what I continue to say, is you watch highlights on a Sunday night, and you say, wow, guys all over the league are making plays. Where the hell is that in Jacksonville? And who's making a play? And that's the problem with their offense right now. Not enough guys making plays. James Robinson, Pro Football Focus. James Robinson, your eye test. James Robinson statistically says that guy's making plays. That guy's doing his job. I mean, he is doing what he needs to do. Problem is he's been banged up the last few weeks. But the receivers, you look at the stats, you look at the eye test, and then you look at the bad plays and not enough highlights to overcome those. Well, they're not doing their job. And then we can get to the quarterback and the play caller after that, and they're probably not doing their job to the best of their ability either. But there's more than just those 2 guys where everybody points their finger to.
And with the play with Treadwell, at least when you're watching on TV, like you can see where the guy, like the receivers line up. So you have a general idea like where they are, but when the play starts, they run out of the screen, whatever. So when that ball was in the air that Trevor threw, I usually do this thing. I'm like, man, I hope it's going to, and then I say somebody's name. I can't. I didn't have a name to say. Man, I hope that's going to, well, I don't hope it's going to LaVisca. I don't really hope it's going to Dan Arnold. And then it was Treadwell, and he makes a great play. So maybe that's my new, man, I hope that's going to Treadwell.
I do think Marvin Jones is a good player. I think he's a reliable player. I think he's a good player. I don't know if he should have had that one play, but outside, I know he dropped one earlier on like a 3rd and 15 this year. I forget what game that was. I can see it in my mind. It was a good throw, and he just flat out spiked it into the ground. And so I'm not saying he's been perfect. I think he is a good player. He's the guy that I want the ball to. I just don't know if there's enough targets going to Marvin Jones. And then the other part of this is Laviska Shenault has regressed in such a way that is really eye-opening, and you can double down on that because you just watch Deebo Samuel do what he did Monday, and that's the guy he's supposed to be like. Now, listen, Deebo's been doing it a little bit longer. Deebo is in a groove right now. I think he's second in the NFL in yards. I'm not even saying you have to be that guy. They're not the exact player. It's just a good comparison player because of the things that Shenault can do. But Laviska's not doing anything. Like, I remember when Urban Meyer said, it was the one game, I think it was at the Cincinnati game where he had one catch, I think maybe the 58-yarder. And then coming out of that, Urban Meyer was like, hey, we got to get him like 10 touches. Like, we got to get him the ball. Well,
and it looks like they've tried from the backfield and whatnot.
They have tried some ways. I think you could make the case they might have gotten the ball 10 times in the last 5 games since Urban said that. But part of that is because he's not catching the football. I mean, he has to have the most drops over the last few weeks. The Miami game, he had 2 drops I can remember. Last week, another drop. He's running the wrong routes.
Right.
Like, I mean, he's not doing the right. Like, we can see that. I can only imagine if he's messing up more things. You know, Laviska Shenault is in a funk right now. And I don't think this guy's a bad player. He might not be as good as we think he is, or maybe he shouldn't have been picked in the second round. I don't think this guy's a bad player. I think he can be utilized in the right way. And they talked about it today. They've been jumping him from inside and outside. I do not know why when you give guys multiple things to do in the NFL, it just never works. It never works. Just keep him right there. Just keep him where he's good. Like, what I don't understand about moving him to the outside, and I understand that Chark went down, and so you try to assume those duties. No, replace him with somebody else. Because I remember a quote from Marvin Jones in training camp say he might be like the biggest mismatch in the slot in the league. That's from a fellow wide receiver. Now, that might be hyperbole too. But the bottom line is, if he's that good from the slot, why are the coaches moving him to the outside to try to replace Chark? That's not where he's at his best. Again, we have examples of this. Why does Myles Jack, first couple years, not play the weak side, even though that's where he's at his best? Why did Taven Bryan try to play the Calais Campbell position, even though that's not where he's at his best? I mean, haven't we learned around here, and I know it's not the same regime, but can we put guys at where they're the best, like, to excel? I don't want my guy being in another spot and being a B-level player when he can be an A-level player from where he should be playing.
Yeah. I guess it's a move of panic, I guess you could say, because then you put Agnew inside and you think the size makes more sense because most of the slot receivers are smaller. But, yeah, I don't understand. I'm sick of Shenault just because I don't like it, and there's nothing you can really do about it except get better. And I don't know if that's going to happen. Obviously, if you have another option, it might help. And I don't know if John Brown is that option, but Urban talked about him today, as I heard. What's the deal with that, by the way? Why does Urban not know about him yet? He was asked about it, and he says there's not enough reps. Like, what does that mean?
It's just not. I mean, when did they bring him in?
Last week.
So they brought him in last week. He doesn't even know the playbook yet, probably. So they don't even see him really on the practice field. A little bit, liking it like Odell Beckham Jr., just to a lesser degree because he's not as big a name and you don't know if he's going to make an impact. But Odell Beckham Jr. wasn't in the game a lot the other night.
Right.
It wasn't because he hadn't been out on the practice field. They don't trust him. He doesn't trust it. He doesn't know the offense that well. I thought it was interesting what they were talking about in the broadcast about the red zone. Like, you have to have timing and all that stuff, so you're not going to put him out there in those situations. But, yeah, I guess it's a little bit of that. And I mean, listen, the last time the Jags actually practiced was last Friday. And the last time did they really on Friday? Do you practice? Like,
Right.
you're really kind of getting through the final stages of it. And I would say last Thursday, and when Brown was signed, it was sometime last week. But
yeah, I'm looking for it.
I think there's reason to believe that Urban Meyer, when you ask Urban Meyer, like, hey, how's John Brown looked? Well, I've seen him run like sprints. I've seen him catch the ball off the jugs machine. Like, I've seen him catch it off air,
Right.
From C.J. Beathard. But that's all I've seen. So I don't think, listen, a lot of people don't love what Urban says sometimes. And I think what we have to, this is a topic for a little bit later on, but I think what we have to understand about Urban Meyer is he's brought in here to be a CEO kind of coach more than he is, I'm going to micromanage every position. Now, you can not like that, but he's obviously letting his guys coach and get wrapped up in the depth of coaching, in the weeds of coaching. And he's letting them do that. He's more of that culture guy. You heard the soundbite, and we'll play a little bit later, but the soundbite was like, hey, the only thing worse than confidence is false confidence. Like, that's what Urban looks at. Urban is trying to play with the psyche of this team. He's trying to identify the tough-nosed guys, the competitor guys. That's kind of what he's done in his career. I'm not saying he can't call a play. He can't fix the offense a little bit, but he obviously has trusted Schottenheimer and Bevel, two guys that have been around, to do it. Now, should he? We can argue that. But that's what he's doing, right? That's what he's doing. We'll get a little bit more Urban in a moment. I want to stay on LaVisca because I really think they've got to get LaVisca going. Like, Agnew has been good in spots, but I think you've got to be very careful to rely on Agnew as this receiving guy all of a sudden. He's a special teams ace. He's dynamic with his speed, which you can use on offense. But is he a guy you want touching the ball 7 to 8 to 10 times a game? I mean, come on. That's not what they paid him for. That's nobody's used him like that in the NFL. And there's a reason for that, probably. So LaVisca Chenault, they drafted in the second round to be utilized in a similar way, minus the speed. He's got more toughness than speed, but utilized in that kind of way where you can get him the ball in the backfield. You can get him the ball on a jet sweep. You can get him the ball on a bubble screen. You can get him the ball in the middle of the field. And then occasionally you can get him the ball down the field. And he hasn't had a drop problem really in his career. He's definitely in a funk. And the offensive coordinator's job, in my opinion, is to get players like that out of the funk and get him on the page and make stuff easy for him and get him some confidence. And I think that you marry the two together. I think that's what Urban's talking about. He wasn't specifically talking about a false confidence with LaVisca, but right now he's got a little bit of a lack of confidence. I think that's showing up on Sundays in LaVisca Chenault. And so they have got to find a way to do that and get him the football because they don't have a lot of fixes when it comes to speed. We can sit here and talk all day, but they lost Chark, they lost ETN. Yeah, they have Agnew as some speed. They weren't bringing in, they're bringing in John Brown, but come on now, that's just like a try this guy out and see if it works and roll of the dice and keep your fingers crossed kind of play. So what do you have? Well, you have Marvin Jones, who has had himself a really nice career. You paid him money. Get him the football. You drafted LaVisca Chenault, and the guy's proven that he can make some plays in the league, and if you do things the right way with him, he can be pretty dynamic and tough for defenses. Make the most of him. Make the calls that make his skill set really blossom and get him some confidence along the way. So if you do that with those two guys, then you get Jamal Agnew doing whatever he can do and help you out on the jet sweeps, the motion plays. Those have worked. Those have been good. And now you have James Robinson hopefully getting healthier and healthier, and you have Dan Arnold. Listen, I don't think all is lost with this offense. I think they have some decent guys that they can certainly scheme some good offense with and play better if these guys will catch the ball. They won't get penalties, and the quarterback can hit them. So I have not given up on this offense. Now, it's not going to be the Chiefs. I get it, but it shouldn't be a 16-point offense. No. It really shouldn't. It should not be. When they can run the ball, the way they run the ball, and when James is healthy, and if he is healthy, and if he can get back in there and get 20 touches a game, they should be able to put 24, 27 up on the board. They really should. And I think a big part of this 3 weeks is the fact that James isn't healthy, and you can't rely on that right now, and you can't play off that. I almost put this in, and I knew Twitter would get all over me here for it, but the last 3 weeks, because I tweeted this out about Mac Jones, said the running game the last month for New England, I saw some stats that make them the best in the league. the last month, the last 3 weeks, the last month, whatever it is. And they're on a 4-game win streak. By the way, their defense is also the best in the league during that stretch. I mean, they are playing really good complementary football. If you could take the Jags defense to be the best in the league the last month and their running game to be the best in the league in the last month, do you think Trevor would be playing better? Yeah, I think so, right? I think so. That means you're getting turnovers. That means you're giving them the ball at the 20-yard line, all those things. So I think, and I'm not trying to take away from Mac, but everything is working well right now around Mac. And so Mac is playing better. They are elevating him up, and he is helping that by playing good football. But you have to look at these last 3 weeks and look at the Jags running game, and I feel like it's about, from the running back position, they're getting about 70, 75 yards a game. Now, against Indy, they ran for like 180 yards.
But
66 was on Agnew.
Right.
And 4, I think, for 32 was Trevor. So that's 98 yards on 5 plays, and those aren't your running backs. So now if you take that away, now you ran for about 80 yards. And that was with a good second half from James Robinson. They didn't really use him in the first. So the running game, we all know, is key. They have to get it going again. But I think they have to get Laviska Shenault going, too, because that's somebody that the defense has to then identify, account for, match up with. And then you start putting Agnew in motion, and Dan Arnold is one of your mismatches. Dan Arnold's probably your only mismatch. Agnew's not a mismatch. Shenault right now, I can't call him a mismatch the way he's playing. But Arnold, with his speed, you can scheme things to make him a mismatch. And so I haven't given up on this offense, but they got a lot of work to do. Guys got to play better, and they got to make the most out of the skill sets of what they have. That's speed Agnew, that's speed Arnold, that's toughness and versatility for Laviska, not speed, and that's veteran savvy and a good receiver for Marvin Jones. So make it all work, Darrell Bevell.
That's why I just wonder, like, with Laviska, if we're wrong on the gadget part of it. And I think I said this on Monday night, but it was just like, maybe he's just a physical receiver. Like, maybe that's what it is, and they're trying to make him something he's not.
Yep, I get what you're saying, but you watched Debo the other day, right? He's a physical receiver.
Yeah.
He is running end arounds and maybe sometimes out of the backfield. This isn't like they're trying to set up a screenplay all the time to Laviska and say, take it the distance from 68 yards. Like, that play for Jamal Agnew was designed to hopefully go 66 yards.
Sure.
They could run the same play with Laviska, and they would settle for a 15-yard gain. They're not trying to get 66 out of him there. And I think the same with Deebo Samuel. I mean, Deebo Samuel is probably a little quicker than
has to
Laviska,
be.
right?
He looks faster.
Yeah, and I would say there's a chance Laviska's probably more physical than him.
I would agree.
You know?
Yeah.
So you're not going to – we know that, though. Laviska Shenault's not going to run away from people. But, hey, we'll take 22-yard gains, you know? Yeah. Take a 14-yard gain and make the defense think about it. Like, that's what they got to do. We used to have this bingo chart on Laviska. And we would say at the time, their offense isn't doing anything. And so they can't get to the bingo card on Laviska. They couldn't. Because if you're not picking up first downs, if you're not running 12 plays in a drive or 10 plays in a drive, well, when are you calling the bubble screen to Laviska? When are you calling the end around? When are you putting him in the backfield in the Wildcat? Well, you're not going to do that on first down coming into a drive, you know? So that's they've got to get in a rhythm of sorts. One, with him as a player, because he is in a funk, like clearly in a funk. And 2, as an offense, to be able to use Laviska Shenault a little bit better. I'm not ready to call Laviska a bust. I mean, I know he's not playing well, but I'm not ready to call him I've seen him play pretty good football at times. He's got to be way more consistent.
I think I lean that way because of every other mistake they've made.
I think so.
So, like, that's kind of what people think about, I think. So it's like, oh, great, they did it again.
Yeah.
And people need to be proved wrong, and I think that's a fair point, that you have to prove them wrong to get on their side.
Yeah, it's like, what have you done for me lately, right?
Yeah, exactly.
But it's also like calling Matthew Stafford a bad quarterback for the last 2 weeks. Now, you have plenty of equity built up over 10 years that he can really make plays. But you could sit here and say right now, Matthew Stafford's never going to win big. He never did in Detroit, and look at him the last couple of weeks. You know?
It's true.
But nobody's going to say that. The guy's got skill. Laviska Shenault's better than he's playing. I really feel that he's better. They got to utilize him the right way and get him some confidence. We'll be back. Action Sports Jax on ESPN 690. We have some fun topics. We're not talking draft, but I do have kind of a draft question. That's on the way as well. More receiver talk, more Urban Meyer talk. And the Butcher's not here, but we do have golf picks coming up on ESPN 690 later on.
Now, the First Alert forecast on ESPN 690.
Partly to mostly sunny and mild today. Highs making it into the 70s. Partly cloudy tonight in the mid to upper 50s. And a pretty warm Thursday. It'll be partly sunny tomorrow with highs near 80 degrees. I'm Chief Meteorologist Mike Burrish. Join me today beginning at 5 p.m. on CBS 47 and Fox 30 Action News Jax.
The Weather Center is brought to you by Beard's Diamonds, where now you can save up to 41% off during Beard's anniversary sale.
Do you have 3 ex-wives and your current trophy wife wants a life insurance policy 3 times the size of the policies you had to purchase for your previous mistakes? If so, you need to call Big Lou at Term Provider, 800-333-1750. Big Lou is intimately familiar with your problems, and if you're 50 or 60 years old and in reasonably good health, a $1 million policy should only cost about $100 to $200 per month. Big Lou may have a solution for your previous policies as well. You may even save enough money to lighten the load on your new $1 million policy. Remember, call Big Lou. He's like you, except he's only on number 2. Call Term Provider at 800-333-1750. That's 800-333-1750 for $1 million in term life insurance that you can live with. Call Big Lou at 800-333-1750. 800-333-1750.
All across the nation, we are here for our communities.
We're doing our part to get supplies where it's needed in order to fight COVID-19 together.
It feels good to be out there to assist our community.
I would like our friends and family to know that your National Guardsmen are always ready and always there.
Visit NationalGuard.com to find out more.
Sponsored by the Florida Army National Guard. Aired by the Florida Association of Broadcasters and this station.
Slip and falls can be embarrassing, leaving you in pain and feeling like you've lost control. I'm Eli Anajar from the law offices of Anajar and Levine. After a fall, document the scene by taking photographs and make sure to get medical attention for any injuries you may have. If you've been injured in a slip and fall accident, call the law offices of Anajar and Levine at 904-600-4000. That's 904-600-4000 for a free consultation. And take back control of your life.
Office in Jacksonville.
The right time for the best water is right now. CGC Water Treatment wants to make sure your family's water is clean, healthy, and tastes great. CGC Water's done that for my family for a handful of years now, and it all starts with a Connecticut system. American-made and installed by the pros at CGC Water Treatment. Contact CGC Water Treatment now for your free water test. Connecticut systems remove up to 99% of contaminants. Remember, if you're not filtering your water, you are the filter. Don't be the filter. Connecticut makes the world's most efficient softeners, twin-tank, non-electric systems that use less salt and water during regeneration. Right now, save up to $600 on select system packages. Financing available with approved credit. Just call CGC Water at 904-552-1242 and ask about the Conway Club, the new service program that will save you money on salt, filters, delivery, parts, and labor. Call 904-552-1242 or visit cgcwater.com. Proud partners of the Jacksonville Jaguars and your local independent Connecticut dealer.
Life always has its challenges, but if you feel hopeless or suicidal, you don't have to face it alone. I'm Dr. Christine Caulfield, CEO of LSF Health Systems, and our free Link to Life program can help. We'll connect you with a care coordinator who will work with you to build better tomorrows. Please take suicide off the table. Contact Link to Life at 904-582-3252 or visit lsfhealthsystems.org.
You're invited to shop at the White Harvest Farms and Farmers Market every Saturday from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. It's a market of fresh and affordable farm-to-table produce that comes from a 10.5-acre urban located at 4850 Moncrief Road. There's volunteering, classes, and farming demonstrations. Also, if you're interested in becoming a vendor or volunteer, call 904-354-4162 or visit the White Harvest Farms Eventbrite page. White Harvest Farms wants to be your favorite produce market. This initiative benefits the Clara White Mission.
We are here for Magda, a Holocaust survivor.
Things become harder with age.
We are here for Sharonda, who needed parenting support.
I cried out to her, she listened to me.
And we're here for Ashley, who needed to heal.
She helped me feel like I didn't have to be scared.
Jewish Family and Community Services is here for seniors with food, financial assistance, and counseling. JFCS is here for Jax. Visit jfcsjax.org.
Basket Brigade, sponsored by Tito's Handmade Vodka, knows that any act of kindness makes a difference for many. Make your donation so that families in our community receive grocery gift cards to make their purchases. To donate, visit ESPN690.com. Thank you for donating to make a difference.
Well, we took part of it, yeah. When you look at our history of those guys, to me, are hard to find. I think Laviska, and I think that's why we handed off to Agnew. You know, fast guys in space are how you score touchdowns, and that's what they do a nice job with him. And we're still figuring things out, but I think Laviska and Agnew should be able to do that. I know Etienne, I mean, my gosh. And that's why those guys are, you know, Kamara for New Orleans, you know, you can look at Curtis Samuel, Percy Harvin, whatever, Paris Campbell, those are all guys that fast guys in space are dual threats.
That is Urban Meyer today. A lot of talk about the receiver position. Deebo Samuel, it's going to be an interesting matchup now. He's playing really good football, and Shanahan knows how to use him, and he utilizes him great. You mix in Ayuk, you mix in now a healthy Kittle, and they're dangerous. Kittle really makes them different, and I'm not really sure he's back to his old self just yet. He'll probably get there, and it might be time to get there this week. And Jags have struggled with tight ends anyway, so but they're playing better football, and Joe Cullen's put up some pretty good game plans. The bottom line is a dangerous team coming into Jacksonville with San Francisco. Like, we thought they'd be really good. They have not been good. They really have not been good. They were good Monday night, and they have the ability to be good. Like, they can be a dangerous – that entire West can be really good. And there's a real good chance the Jags go 0-4 against the West. They're really just not as good on paper as any of those teams. And Seattle was playing down at the time, didn't have Russell Wilson. You thought maybe they could do something there, but you got to go out to Seattle, which we know is like add on 10 points every time the Jags got to fly 6 hours west.
At this point in time, it's either that or Houston, I know, but is the Seattle performance the most depressing one that the Jags have had this year, or would you say Houston?
Houston. No, yeah, I mean, I do think the Seattle game, I think it happens. I think the Seattle game is one that happens in the NFL. I hate to say that because around here, those games have happened quite a bit.
Right.
And so that's the muddy part. Like, all right, is this just another Jags game or is this just a game that happens? Again, we look at the Rams the last 2 weeks have done it. I mean, they have absolutely stunk the last 2 weeks. They've gotten the doors blown off them. Once at home.
Yeah.
And so you do that, and then you take like a Bucs team. I'll give you the Bills game. I'll give you every team has those games.
Sure.
And so the Houston one was so disappointing because Houston stinks. And you couldn't line up. You couldn't even play football. Now, there's a little bit of that in the Seattle game too, where you couldn't line up, play football. So it's more, those are the things that are more nauseating and concerning than the actual performance and scoreboard, in my opinion, because that shouldn't look like that. But I still think Houston takes the cake in that, and it clearly does to me. I will say this. If you look at those games and what they did the week later, you have to give the Jags coaching staff – nobody wants to give the Jags coaching staff credit. But the way they fixed that stuff immediately, I thought was pretty impressive.
Yeah.
They played Denver. They still got beat. But Denver – I still think Denver's a completely different game if Lambeau makes a couple kicks. You feel differently about that game. And they have the lead going into halftime. And then Denver got the ball coming out of the second half, scored right away, and it was, boom, it's like 17-7 or something. And it could have been, even if they did that, it could have been 17-13, and you're right in the mix. So, but they didn't look disorganized in that game. They just didn't win. And it was the second game of the year, and Trevor Lawrence was like 14-33 in that game, and Fangio's pretty good against young quarterbacks. Defense. And so there was some of that. But I still am I'm impressed that you can look so bad in the Houston game and Seattle game and come back the very next week and look on point like they did in both those instances from a lining up and fixing some of those mistakes. So what they got to do is avoid going back to that well. I mean, you can't be doing that once a month. And right now they're on pace to do that once a month. And that's a little bit concerning.
Can't do it against the 49ers. They're going to beat you if you can't line up.
Listen, I have my problem, and I'll talk more about this as the week goes along. My problem with the 49ers and the Jags is now listen, Joe Cullen has given me a little bit of pause on this thought, but I think Shanahan can really scheme you up. And Shanahan schemed up the Rams. You watch the breakdowns on all that stuff, and he found a way to get Debo away from Jalen Ramsey and made it tough for the Rams, and he had the favorable matchups. And he called a brilliant game, and I think Urban said it today. They ran one of the plays like 15, 20 times. They found a play that is going to beat you, and they just keep going to it. And, I mean, Garoppolo was fine. He executed the game plan, but he's kind of like Mac Jones in the sense where he didn't do anything like, oh, my gosh. He just went like 15 for 18 for 198 yards, and executed things. So
it's a great comparison, by the way, since that was supposed to be the guy that replaced Tom.
Yeah, I know. But that's what they're doing with their quarterbacks. They're not asking Garoppolo to go throw it for 400 yards. And the last time the Jags played Shanahan, I mean, he out-schemed the heck out of the Jags, and that was 17. That was that good defense. Yep. But he knew that defense. He had played. He knew that defense well from his Atlanta days and from San Francisco with Saleh there, and he knew how to beat it, and he beat it. So it's going to be an interesting chess match to watch Joe Cullen counter what they try to do on offense, because I think that was a pretty darn good blueprint on Monday of what they're going to try to do. What they did to the Rams, it worked so effectively. It was their best performance of the season for the 49ers. All right, hey, a lot of word coming in right now. I think I saw Ian Rappaport tweet out that James Robinson is added to the injury list. Or he's on the injury list, and Jags injury report out today, and it says heel and knee injury. Well, if you watched it, and by the way, I know not everybody does. We hope you do, both watch and listen. But if you watched Jags Report Live Monday night, we have James Robinson on each and every week from Sneakers in Jax Beach, 7 o'clock. Come on out. Jags Media, you're invited. As I just said on Twitter, maybe someone will buy you a beer. But it's also on Fox 30, that show. And James, when we asked him about warming up in that game, because I kind of joked with him, like I TMZ'd him a little bit. Like I was all over that. Somebody actually came up to me like from another station in India and was like, what are you doing? Like, what are you filming? Like, what are you videoing? Like, well, who is that? And that's what he said. They said, like, who is that?
Who is that?
Yeah.
Hey, do some research,
I know.
Indie media.
Well, sometimes you don't care about the other team as much. But anyway.
We were talking about Jonathan Taylor.
Yeah, we were. But so anyway, that I said that to James. He's like, yeah, I saw you. But during the explanation of what he was looking for, he kind of announced, like we hadn't heard this yet, that he also hyperextended his knee on the same play that he hurt his heel. And so when he was putting the brakes on, and if you think about it, it makes sense. And actually, if you go back and look at the play, you can kind of see it. And so it's been a heel injury, but he even had some, I would say, discomfort in the knee. But everybody's been focusing on the heel. And so he said that on Monday. I tweeted that out yesterday. We talked about it on the show yesterday here on ESPN 690. And now they've added the knee to the list because you have to accurately report things. And so I'm not even sure the Jags knew for the last couple of weeks that his knee might have been bothering him a little bit. And I don't know if his knee's actually hurting. I think when he said he was testing it out, he wanted to make sure the knee was okay in the testing phase Sunday morning to make cuts and everything else, because it goes hand in hand with, or heel and heel, with his foot and his knee. So that's the story. This is not new. This is not something that came out of the game for James Robinson. This is something that's been on his mind a little bit. The heel has been the main part of the injury, but the knee, and now they put it on the injury report today too. I don't think this should be alarming is my point. I think he came out of that game. He's still sore. He told us that Monday. He still doesn't feel like himself. He thought he should have broken some more tackles in that game. And I think he thought 3 weeks ago he would have broken some of those tackles if he had the proper, 100% push off and power in his lower half. So he's working toward that. But I'm not sure this should be that alarming for anybody that the knee now joins the heel on the injury report. It's the same play, same injury, not something new that happened in the game against Indianapolis, unless there's something new that happened like in practice.
Yeah.
That'd be the only caveat to that.
Seems unlikely, but I think it's just at the end of the day, the interviewer makes the interview. So I guess you just bring the best out of people, and you got James to maybe you brought the best out of him is what it is. And he trusts you to tell his story, I guess.
Yeah, I guess.
It fits the narrative.
Sure, I'll take the credit for it. Really, my concern now is that he won't share anything else with us.
No,
because
never.
It's becoming such a...
Yeah, not a chance.
It's a bigger... He probably got asked by like PR, probably got asked by everybody. He's like, what's up with your knee?
Yeah.
What's the matter with your knee?
As soon as you guys went to break, his phone was blowing up.
So anyway, that's the story and the latest. But I guess everybody, Rappaport tweeted the injury report, retweeted the injury report. And I think everybody's like, oh, that's a new thing. Heads up, fantasy owners. Just this clarification, it does not appear to be a new thing. Not that we were told from James Robinson on Monday night. And I still have this belief, at least from talking to James. Again, you talk to him Monday night, 24 hours after the game, they fly back, all that stuff, and he's getting treatment. And now here we are on Wednesday. Things can change with your body. But I got the feeling that, listen, he's not 100%, but he's good enough to play and keep playing on. He's going to get more comfortable with it. And as long as there's not a setback, he'll be fine. There's some of this that's a pain tolerance thing, mostly with the heel, that's a pain tolerance thing. And so it seems like he got going a little bit in the second half. And I think that was encouraging, Austin, because Casey.
All good. I'll take that one.
Because if we now, the reason why it's encouraging is, one, I want James to stack up as many stats as he can. I think he's going to get paid at the end of this year. So the more stats, the merrier. The reason why it's also encouraging is this offense has kind of proven that they can't really function without him. And so if you're going to function on offense soon, like Sunday, it's good to have James Robinson. I think that's like a proven fact now over the last month.
No, it's a fact. It's 100% a fact. And I hate to say it, but if you have to do a similar thing to what you did last week, maybe try to figure out a way to play offense. But if you got to save him for the second half, or you got to balance those reps maybe more, because like you said, we barely saw him in the first half. And if that's what you got to do, I guess it's what you got to do. But maybe more balance, I don't know, because by the time you get to the second half, you felt like you were out of the game until he was making plays. So got to find that balance, and at the same time, you got to have guys like Carlos Hyde step up. Also, Ngumba Wale, can we let him try? I mean, he's on the team for a reason. Dude's played 4 snaps. Let him try.
I do. I'll tell you this, though. I'll say this. I think Carlos Hyde, people just don't want Carlos. They've got this negative connotation of Carlos Hyde.
Yep.
And it's not just because he missed an all-access one time. It's the guy, I think they want James to have the ball so much that Carlos Hyde is getting this negative connotation. I don't think Carlos Hyde's a bad player. I just think it's proven that Carlos Hyde, as your main guy, isn't going to get it done. Dare is probably in the same boat. This offense isn't going to function at high of a level if he's running the football or if James is running the football. So this isn't about – the bottom line is they have got to get back to where James Robinson is touching the football, in my estimation, somewhere between 18 and 22 times a game. I really would like it more toward 22 and even 24 if you can do it, because that means you're probably winning and you can run and you can melt some clock and all those things. So if you figure you have 60, 62 plays in a game, you run a couple times with Agnew and LaVisca and Carlos Hyde, well, that leaves hopefully about 30 passes for Trevor and 22 carries or so for James Robinson. And that's not even in the pass game. You could utilize him there if you want to. So I think I don't think we're going to see this offense really function at its highest level. I'm not sure I should say at a high level, because I'm not sure it's ever going to get to a high level, but at its highest level until James can touch the ball 22 times again. Mm-hmm. And hopefully this week will be it. Again, he got it 12 times last week, and they really weren't sure what they could do with him. They hardly tested him in the first half. They tried to get away with that, and then they're like, you know what, I think we got to give it to him. And he toughed it out. So we will see what happens. But again, the story here is it's not a new knee injury. It's something that happened on the heel injury that he told us about Monday night was a hyperextended knee, and now it's listed on the injury report as well, because you know what? You kind of got to list them. I'm not sure James even really told anybody until he told us all on Monday. That's what this feels like.
Yeah, it does.
Sorry, James, we might have got you in trouble.
Yeah, hopefully he comes back next Monday. So we'll see.
He's scheduled.
Yeah. Kind of like Josh was scheduled to join you guys at Topgolf yesterday.
Yeah, good point. I know this. James won't be at Pinehurst playing golf.
That is true. You've narrowed that down.
Hopefully James joins us next Monday and is healthy and has 140 yards and 3 scores.
That would be perfect.
We'll be back. Action Sports Jax on ESPN 690. There's a new basketball tournament in Jacksonville, and it happens Thanksgiving week, Sunday and Monday, November 21st and 22nd, and it's at UNF Arena. The Jacksonville Classic, presented by Fabletics. The headliner, the Florida State Seminoles. They will take on Loyola Marymount on Sunday at 5:30. It's an 8-team event, 4 games on Sunday, 2 more games on Monday, right at UNF Arena. You can get tickets at JacksonvilleClassic.com. It's the Jacksonville Classic, presented by Fabletics, coming Sunday and Monday, Thanksgiving week at UNF Arena.
Okay, so there's a drag queen, and I think she's Canadian. She doesn't say that she's Canadian in the video, but I think she is. And she's wearing this super fancy purple dress, poofy shoulder pads, real classic princess gown, and boom, right away she goes to the camera. This is a Mobius strip, and honestly, I have no idea what that is. But at the end of the video, you do understand it. I mean, not really if you're bad at math like me, but you kind of understand it. It's like a college math lecture. Suddenly, math has never been more beautiful and interesting to me. You have to see it. TikTok.
What can give you a competitive edge in today's red-hot housing market? Rocket can. That's because Rocket Mortgage can give you a verified approval. It could help your offer stand out. Rocket Technology provides a rock-solid verification of your income, assets, and credit, giving sellers greater confidence in you. Go to rocketmortgage.com or call us today at 8338-ROCKET.
A verified approval is based on an underwriter's analysis of your individual financial information, appraisal, and title report. Call for cost information and conditions. Equal housing lender licensed in all 50 states and MLSConsumerAccess.org number 3030.
If you're like me, you come home from work and walk through a messy garage hurtling shoes and bats and bikes. Well, get the easy garage solution that I got. It's called Easy Garage Solutions. One-of-a-kind monkey bar technology that will last a lifetime. Hang the bikes and the lawn equipment. Easy Garage Solutions. Shelving and overhead storage for boxes and bins. Easy Garage Solutions. Cabinets and flooring available too. Easy Garage Solutions. Find them at EasyGarageSolutions.com. Easy Garage Solutions. It's that easy.
For the ones who are always in the know.
Delivery confirmed.
For the ones who keep things running. For the innovators and the problem solvers. Grainger offers supplies and solutions for every industry, experienced staff at local branches, and free access to experts to help answer your toughest questions. So whatever challenge you face, we have the knowledge and products to help. Call, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Mr. and Mrs. Flavor, thank you for joining us.
Great to be here. I'm Barry, the flavor of berry.
I'm Janet. I'm bitter.
And I understand your son is the flavor menthol?
Yes, he's the menthol in a menthol cigarette.
He's such a disappointment. Out there getting people addicted, being used by big tobacco to target black people. He could have been a lozenge.
Menthol cigarettes are harder to quit than regular cigarettes. Find out how to quit today at tobaccofreeflorida.com.
For 50 years, Taylor has been a leader in caring for the elderly. Providing quality, compassionate care has always been our mission. At Taylor Care Center and Taylor Manor, our recipe for success has always been our exceptional team. They work tirelessly to ensure that your family member gets the best care possible. When residents were not able to spend time with you and your family, our team stepped up to celebrate birthdays, anniversaries, and special occasions. Our dedicated staff is among the best in the business. Taylor Residents, providing safe, compassionate care every day.
Sick of big banks drawing money out of Jacksonville? Want your money to stay here and help local folks? At One-to-One Financial, Jacksonville's hometown credit union, all of our capital is invested back into Northeast Florida. This includes our all-new hometown credit card. You get all the rewards and perks of a big bank, and every swipe invests back in Jax. Get 2 points for every dollar, up to 50,000 bonus points, 24/7 fraud protection, pay with points, and tons more. Support your community with a hometown credit card from One-to-One Financial. Apply at 121fcu.org. Federally insured by NCUA, a proud Visa partner.
Are you interested in going into business for yourself? Do you know how to write a business plan? What is the best use of social media? What type of loans and other financing is available to a small business? These are among the many topics that SCORE addresses through the workshops and webinars we conduct all year long. Our presenters are subject matter experts and offer great insights that can make a difference to starting or running your business. Go to jacksonville.score.org and click on the Take a Workshop tab to see which one is of interest to you and sign up today.
Did you know there's dust floating around your home?
Really?
Yeah. Dust starts on hard surfaces like shelves and ceiling fans. And when you walk by, dust starts to move, compromising the quality of the air you and your family breathe.
So, what do I do?
Get Swiffer Heavy Duty Duster. Swiffer Heavy Duty Duster is the fast and easy way to trap and lock dust.
Before it gets into the air.
Exactly. So you can just Swiffer Heavy Duty Duster, proud partner of the American Lung Association.
Join ESPN 690 on March 5th for the Gate River Run. Registration for the 15K, 5K for charity, Junior River Run, and the Brooks Rehabilitation Mile Challenge is now open at GateRiverRun.com. Training information is available on the website. See you at the starting line.
That's an issue. That's something that we've addressed. That's something, do we put them in those situations where they're, able to compete and make catches? But I didn't realize it was 18. That's a tough number, especially with a young quarterback that we need to, we're trying not to get him touched and we're trying to make plays. That's how you have success. So that's why we're kind of rotating guys around and trying to get that right mix together.
I later told Urban Meyer, said, you look at that drop number. I said, if you really want to throw up your lunch, go look at third down drops. He's like, I don't want to.
I wouldn't either.
Yeah. Again, I think the third down drop stat is interesting. I just saw CBS that one time put the numbers out, but that's fascinating to me. And I remember a couple of them, but I didn't know it was as high as 11. And drops are a funny thing. Like what the coaching staff counts as drops, what the receivers groups count as drops, what the quarterback count as drops. If I'm Trevor Lawrence's dad, my drop total's up to like 28.
Oh, yeah. 100%. Drops is it's one of those stats.
I'm not his dad, but I am kind of his defender. So, yeah, I think it's like 28.
Yeah, you are that. No, drops is such an interesting stat where it's like nobody really knows what it is, but we'll just count it.
Yeah, well, that's true. There's some truth to that.
Yeah, it's like, it looked like a drop.
Hey, we'll get back to the Jags in a moment, but how about former Jags coach and an interim coach for a bit, Mel Tucker?
Yeah.
The rumor or the report out there, and I don't think it's official yet, 10 years, $95 million to stay at Michigan State. 10 years, $95 million. That is big-time dollars. One for Michigan State to pony up, it feels like. That feels a bit more like Texas A&M, LSU, Alabama, Michigan kind of money. Like, I didn't know that would be Michigan State kind of money with a football program.
Right, yeah.
And I think I saw somebody say who'd make history with that as the highest paid African-American coach of all time.
Wow.
And I'll tell you what, Mel Tucker is an awesome dude. Awesome guy. I did not know he would land like this. I really didn't. Like, going to Colorado, I think he was he defensive coordinator at Georgia and Alabama at one time, or just one of them? I don't know which one. But going to the college game, he's a good defensive mind. He's a good coach. Colorado is the head man. Okay. I could see that and being there for a long time. Did not see him coming to Michigan State. And then did not see this success where you got 10 years, $95 million. And I just didn't see that. Like, you have 10 years, $95 million is reserved for guys like Jimbo Fisher at Texas A&M, who people have seen that coming for like a decade.
Right.
And that's what I mean by it. I'm not saying he doesn't deserve it or hasn't earned it or isn't good enough for it. I just didn't see it coming when he was in Jacksonville. If you had told me in Jacksonville when he was the interim coach and he did a nice job taking over for Jack at that time, and I think it was Jack, right? Yeah, I think it was Jack. And
2011.
Yeah, it was Jack. And that was still one of the craziest announcements ever where they changed the coach and sold the team in the same news conference.
That is wild.
Yes, it was unbelievable.
Were you in there?
Oh, yeah. It was incredible. We've fired Jack Del Rio and moving on. Oh, and by the way, we're selling the team. Holy cow. Who's Shad Khan?
If only they would have had a camera facing you guys as well. Yeah. Y'all would have been like, what?
I forget the exact sequence of it, but it was pretty wild. It might have been the actual, we knew the selling of the team, like rumblings had happened about that.
Okay.
And then it was firing Jack. that also was part of it. But it was a wild press conference, to say the least. But wow, Mel Tucker.
You were right, by the way. Georgia and Alabama.
Both, right?
Yep.
It's interesting. He went from the NFL game back to the college game, and now it's stuck there. And, I mean, what a deal, though. That's unbelievable.
Yeah.
Mel Tucker went to a place that it was a little mess. It's been messy in the sports at Michigan State.
Yeah.
And he goes to that place, and now he's got them in the conversation for the college football playoff. There's a lot that could happen. And now you can beat Ohio State this week, and really good things could happen.
And that's not out of the realm of possibility because of how well they run the football. And I think what it says to me is, first off, I'm an advocate of people getting paid, myself included, so congratulations on that. But I think what it says to me is there had to have been something there that some of these bigger jobs, LSU, USC, there had to be interest because you don't just randomly decide to pay a guy $95 million after 1 year. So I think that there's a chance that could have been happening, and you hear stuff writing on the wall, let's just get it done so we don't have to worry about it.
Well, I think the rumors were real.
Yeah.
I mean, LSU and USC, but I tell you what, this is a better fit.
Oh, yeah.
This is a better fit. I'm not saying Michigan State's a better job, but this is a better fit for Mel Tucker.
LSU's a no-win program. Even Coach O won a national championship. Now, granted, you can argue about how those players got there and all that. They weren't his guys, whatever. And he's obviously not an X's and O's guy. But LSU's a no-win program because you're never going to out-recruit Alabama. And even if you do for 1 year.
Yeah, you're actually sandwiched in between two hot recruiting spots right now. Obviously, the state of Texas, but Texas A&M is really doing a great job. They might have the number one class in 2022. They're headed that way. And then, obviously, you got Alabama. But LSU now, it owns the state. Like, there's nobody that invades the state. And they actually own a little bit outside the state in some geographic parts. And LSU will spare no expense. So I actually believe, this is part of Florida's problem. Florida should pony up what Texas A&M and the Alabamas and the Clemsons and LSU is ponying up to recruit better. They've got to get in that kind of game. If you're not going to have the best recruiter, we'll have the best situation to recruit.
Yeah.
And so LSU has positioned itself that way. And, of course, they're the only show in town. That separates them from Florida, too. Texas A&M, though, has a lot of different shows in town. And they've positioned themselves as, we'll take the private jet, we'll drop the helicopter. Here you go, Jimbo. This is more attractive than LSU, Florida State, and everywhere else. Come on here.
And they build them the facilities to show off.
Absolutely. So the facilities are being built at Florida. But this is another lesson for Florida, I think, is to ante up in the recruiting game. And so you become very attractive and help a guy who's really not that great at it be better at it.
Yeah, that's obvious.
I would say, don't fire the guy for $12 million. Go use that $12 million or $6 million of it to help your recruiting budget.
Yeah.
That's what I would do if I was Florida.
And if you look at their recruits, I definitely talked about this on Monday. Their highest 8 or 7 ranked players, according to 24/7 Stars and whatnot, all play on the offensive side of the ball.
Yeah, that makes some sense, right?
Well, that's why you just gave up 56 to Samford.
Yeah, well, that's true, too.
So unless you're going to score 70 against SEC schools, you're probably in trouble.
But Dan Mullen's going to make guys like Kyle Trask look really good. That's why they're coming on the offensive side of the ball. By the way, so Mel Tucker, congrats to Mel Tucker. And my man Scotty Hazelton as well, because I hope he got a big bump out of that $95 million deal for Mel Tucker, if that's the story. And by the way, Scotty Hazelton might be on his way to being a head coach soon, too. He's got that defense cooking at Michigan State for the most part. Had the one-off game, obviously, with Purdue. So congrats to Mel Tucker. Good for him. We'll be back. Action Sports Jax on ESPN 690. I love football, and I love chicken wings. Hey, everybody, this is Brent Mortno. We are a lot alike, right? You love football, and you love wings. Let's win the week with Extreme Wings Sports Grill. 4 locations in Jacksonville, Atlantic Boulevard, Ocean Way, 210 in St. Johns County, and the new location on Roosevelt Boulevard near NAS Jax, serving up the freshest, never frozen, world-famous extreme hot wings to Jacksonville since 1999. We like football. We like wings. We love a good deal. To celebrate the grand opening of the Extreme Wings Roosevelt location, get 6 wings, french fries, and a drink for just $12.99 at the Roosevelt location. 6 wings, french fries, and a drink, just $12.99. Active military gets special discounts. Jalapeno ranch, Caribbean jerk, spicy blue cheese, lemon pepper. So many flavors to choose from. And, of course, they can make them extreme if you want. Plenty of space at Extreme Wing Sports Grill locations. If you're looking for a place for the entire team, try Extreme Wing Sports Grill. I love it. You'll love it. 4 locations in Jacksonville, including Roosevelt Boulevard near NAS Jax.
For the ones who get going when the going gets tough, and the ones who know we're tougher together. For the Pathfinders breaking new ground, Grainger offers supplies and solutions for every industry, as well as fast access to experts and 24/7 customer support. Because we know you have people depending on you, so you can always depend on us. Call, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Hey, you were supposed to be here 10 minutes ago.
Boss, I'm a little freaked out right now.
What's wrong?
It's Safe Touch Security and their video monitoring systems. They're popping up everywhere.
Oh, for a minute you had me worried.
Boss, my next-door neighbor's got Safe Touch video monitoring, the place across the street's got it, and now I notice there's one next door to the one across the street.
Keep it together now.
Boss, I'm surrounded. It's never been more dangerous to be a crook.
Whoa, easy. Look, you're not planning to break into your neighbor's house, are you?
Well, no.
Problem solved. Don't steal their TV and everything will be fine.
Okay. Yeah, that makes me feel better.
Oh, good. But when we're working, we still gotta stick to the Crooks or Us golden rule. Stay away from Safe Touch houses.
Yeah.
Now get over here. We got work to do.
Now, for a limited time, the Safe Touch Advantage plan includes free equipment and installation for new customers with an Advantage monitoring agreement. The Safe Touch doorbell camera, a $200 value, can be added for just $99. Call Safe Touch today at 888-723-8682 or go to safetouch.com. State license number EF233.
Alexa, how do I drive more customers into my business?
First, people will need to hear about you. Then you need to be online where they look for you. Then you need to...
I don't have time for that. I need to run my business.
Okay, searching for a local team that can help.
CMG Local Solutions. Visit cmglocalsolutions.com today.
You've been diagnosed with type 2 diabetes. You have to carefully monitor your health for the rest of your life. And you have an increased risk of developing cardiovascular disease.
Cut. Take two. Action.
You've been diagnosed with a new purpose, to fight for the amazing life you made for yourself. To look that risk of heart disease square in the face and say, no, not me. You've been given a new opportunity to live. Get started at NoDiabetesByHeart.org.
Men suffering from ED or PE? Has Viagra or Cialis let you down? Prime Men's Medical Center is featuring Restore Wave, the latest and non-invasive ED treatment. You'll see results on your first visit or pay nothing. Call 904-618-3497. That's 904-618-3497.
It's not just boughs of holly that are going to deck your halls this holiday season. It's you decking the whole house with outdoor lights and holiday decor from the Home Depot. Fill your yard with Yuletide treasure like a hand-painted LED reindeer sculpture. Want to build a snowman? You can, with our 6-foot sparkling snowman covered in lights. You can even pair it with a Disney inflatable Sven. You know, from the movie your kids still watch 3 times a day. 'Tis the season to make things jolly, and the Home Depot has everything you need to make the holidays yours. The Home Depot, how doers get more done.
In college football, Goodyear knows a new season means new possibilities, where every Saturday is an opportunity on the road to greatness. No matter if you're out there playing your hardest or cheering the loudest from the sidelines, tailgating in the parking lot, or your favorite spot to watch the game, Goodyear knows passion is what drives us forward all the way to the playoffs. That's the road that moves us. Goodyear, more driven.
Broadcasting live from the ESPN 690 Anna Jar and Levine studios. Anna Jar and Levine Accident Attorneys. Call 904-600-4000. That's 904-600-4000. ESPN 690, Jacksonville's home for ESPN Radio. WOKV Jacksonville. Listen live everywhere you go on ESPN690.com. ESPN 690, a Cox Media Group station. Broadcasting live from the ESPN 690 Anna Jar and Levine studios. This is Action Sports Jax on ESPN 690 with Brent Martineau and Austin Lane.
Hey, welcome back. Action Sports Jax on ESPN 690. Austin off. He's got a fight coming up on Sunday in Houston, so be off the rest of this week, and hopefully a big victory coming up Sunday in the cage in the MMA. Meanwhile, I'm just going to wear makeup on TV tonight and talk sports here on the radio.
Sounds like a plan.
We are a different couple of guys.
Hey, look, tough in your own ways.
Yes, absolutely. Let's bring in Mal Washington right now. He joins us. A little bit different of an assignment for Mal, as I asked him to call in today here on Action Sports Jax on ESPN 690. Mal, as everybody knows, former tennis pro, and really what I should ask him right about now is Michigan State, because it looks like Mel Tucker just got like a $95 million deal, Mal. That Michigan State football program, it's doing a little better.
It is doing a little bit better. I'll give you that. They had a big win over Michigan, but you can go Michigan State, Ohio State. They have been our Achilles heel. For the last, I don't know how many years, especially Ohio State, literally for the last 20 years. we had a big we got run all over by Michigan State 2 weeks ago, but we had a big win at Penn State last week. So, you know what? If we keep winning, I like our position in the rankings right now.
Now, your younger brother played at Michigan State, so how healthy of a rivalry? Like you're talking like you watch every week type of stuff. I mean, is this like a big topic in your text messaging?
Back when we were younger and we were and I first went to Michigan, or soon after Michigan, he was getting recruited by Michigan State. It was certainly a bigger topic back then, but yeah, to be honest with you, as big of a rivalry as we had, I was so proud of them to be able to go to another great university. I'll give it to them. Michigan State is a great university to go there, on a full athletic scholarship and play. It was great. It was great for him. But yeah, the rivalry is there. And he has bragging rights right now after I'll give it to him. It was a beatdown 2 weeks ago.
Mel Washington with us here on Action Sports Jax on ESPN 690. Have you ever done an interview, especially on a sports show, where the person never asked you about tennis?
I have never done an interview on a sports show or a non-sports show where someone has not asked me about tennis. And they're asking me about football, and I know we're going to talk about volleyball of all things. So, yes, this is, which is why I like coming on your show, because you bring different angles to the people.
Well, yeah. So I'm going to actually make it a point, even though I could ask you about tennis, I'm not going to, because I want to be the first, at least, to do that. We'll ask you about your foundation.
Then we won't have to talk about it at all.
That's it. We won't. How about volleyball? How much of a volleyball guru have you become? Here's the deal. This is why I asked Mal to come on. His daughter, Zeta Washington, is a commit to Cincinnati. Fantastic player. She's a junior. This Ponte Vedra volleyball team plays for the state championship tonight. And just like last week when we had Reinhard Harrison on from Nice, cross-country runner, some of these programs and kids go way under the radar because it's not football. And we obviously know football's king, and we talk about football all the time. But, we have some unbelievable programs and athletes in other sports, and Mal's daughter, Zeta, is one of them. The entire team, I don't think, has lost, at home since 2016. That was put to the test a couple weeks ago. I was at that match, and that was in the regional semis. But here you guys are tonight in the state championship, and you got to like your chances, Mel.
No, we do like our chances. It was great seeing you out at PV High School a couple of weeks ago. But yeah, you're right. We had a great win streak going. It was a few weeks ago, prior to the playoffs. It was my daughter's first high school game loss of her high school career. So they had gone undefeated in high school ball since prior to my daughter's freshman year. So right now their record is they were 51-0, and now they're 51-1 or something like that.
Wow!
But we're really looking forward to tonight. A couple weeks ago, the game against Leon. We kind of looked at that as their some of their best competition. On Max Preps, we were 2 in the country. They were 8 in the country, something like that. And that match went the distance. And tonight against Mater, and what is it? A couple hours away. Tonight against Mater, it's going to be highly competitive, but this is the third trip in 3 years that I've made to Fort Myers for the state final. So we're really looking forward to it. I've grown to love volleyball. My daughter doesn't know it yet, but I'm gonna put my name in the hat and see if I can maybe be an assistant or something like that. I played a lot of tennis in my entire year. I feel like a lot of the skills will transfer. She might not like it, but I want to be an assistant, be there on the sidelines doing something.
You know what kind of you would try to run? Well, actually, at Ponte Vedra, you might not want to mess up anything. Just keep it going because everything's right. But you can run different offenses and different schemes in volleyball. My wife played college volleyball, and then she taught high school volleyball. So I know a little bit about it, not a lot. You do. How much have you learned about it? Do you really sit there in the stands and say, I would serve to this person?
Well, I can bring a tennis perspective to volleyball. No one has ever heard of that, but I can bring that. And it reminds me of when I used to coach her softball and I used to coach my son's middle school baseball team. I would bring a tennis perspective. We would literally have tennis rackets out on the baseball field running drills. So I can bring tennis into any sport, but I sit there in the stands and I'm just watching and I'm learning and I'm thinking, maybe I should have been a volleyball player. Who knows how good I could have been. I mean, I was a tennis player, and I have the build for volleyball, I think. I mean, right now I'm 5'11", pushing about 215, which is a little bit more than I want to be pushing. But I think I have the build for a volleyball player for sure.
You still look like you could get after it, too. I was watching you, actually, in the stands.
On the tennis court.
I was watching you in the stands a bit because that was the match that Mal Washington's talking about here. I was at a couple weeks ago, and my wife came with me, and it was 2 of the top 10 teams in the country. It was legit. Like, it's legit high school volleyball, like at a high level, and it was intense, and both teams very good. And, man, you were calm. Like, I was, like, nervous. I was, like, saying stuff a little bit at times. I don't even know anybody on the teams. And you were super calm in the stands. I thought you'd be a little bit more of that maniac dad guy.
No, and you know why? Because growing up in tennis, playing and traveling, playing tournaments since I was 7 years old, I have seen the obnoxious psycho parent roaming behind the tennis court. I've seen it in softball, I've seen it in baseball, and I've seen it in volleyball. And I have vowed I am not going to be that parent. I'm not going to embarrass myself, my family, and my kid. And Brent, when it comes down to it, it's high school volleyball. Let the girls enjoy it. Let them see. May the best team win. I don't want to have anything to do from the sideline, have any impact on what goes on the court. And I've literally seen instances in sports where the parent has an impact of what's going on the court or on the field, and that's just uncalled for. So oftentimes, if I'm not around anyone, I'll just put on my headphones and maybe walk back and forth, or just stand in the corner and watch. I enjoy it. I don't really get nervous at them. I'm just enjoying it as a fan.
And your son's playing football, right?
My son is at the University of Richmond. He is in his sophomore year there playing football. I was joking because last weekend I don't think his uniform got dirty, which basically means he spent a lot of time on the sidelines. But, he's been getting in. He has a couple of catches on the year. Certainly not getting the amount of playing time he wants. And I went up to the last home game last weekend, this past Saturday, against Delaware, and Richmond blew out Delaware. So it was just fun being out there and fun seeing him doing what he loves to do.
Did I hear the story right? And I don't know if this was you. For some reason, I'm equating it to you and your son, but I feel like I heard a story recently that he didn't play a lot of football growing up, and then he got into it late, right?
No football. He played no football growing up. He played lacrosse from middle school through his junior year of high school, and they won the state championship in lacrosse in his junior year. And then he kind of did a 180. We had actually start visiting some schools for him to potentially play lacrosse at and be a student athlete, and he did a 180 and said, I want to see if I can play football my senior year. He played his senior year. And then, maybe good fortune, whatever it was, he kind of got on the radar of a couple of schools, including Richmond. And they said, you know what, he's a good athlete. We think we could find a place for him somewhere on the field. Unfortunately, it's been somewhere on the sidelines of the field. But he's on the team. He's suiting up every week. And what I love about it is for so many years, he was one of the better athletes on every team he played. And even though he's not, so he was always in. He was always one of the starters. And even though right now he's not starting, he's still motivated. He's still getting after it in practice and in the weight room. So in that regard, he's still enjoying it, and his time will come.
That's a really cool story, by the way. Guy just goes out senior year and now is playing at the University of Richmond, which, by the way, is good football. Like, that's good football school, and it's a great school. Proud Papa, you should be. Mal Washington with us, Action Sports Jax on ESPN 690. Let me just keep you another minute or two. How good is this Ponte Vedra team? Because, like, you see it on the travel circuit, right? Like, we know travel ball, you get some teams that are like, okay, that's elite. I mean, you're pulling them from all over the place. Sometimes the really good travel teams will take them from all over the country. So how good is this team that is really one of the best high school teams in the country right here in Ponte Vedra? And that's obviously all homegrown talent.
Homegrown talent, and I'll give a lot of credit to the coach, Robin Menery, who's been there for 13 years, and she played at Clemson University. So she's brought on a lot of good players and has had a lot of success over the years. But I think what makes the team so good right now is their depth. Even when one or two of our starters goes out of the game, or whatever rotation it is, We have so many girls who step right in. But like right now, we have two seniors who are leaving. One is going to go play at Holy Cross. One's going to play at Florida Atlantic. My daughter's committed to Cincinnati. We have another girl who's committed to University of New Hampshire. So we have a lot of depth. And when any of those go out, you know what? Someone steps in and is able to fill that slot, and it's like we don't really take a step down. So that's the cool thing about it. And I like the way, Coach Robin is kind of mixing in different players and giving some of those younger players, the sophomore players especially, a chance to get into the game. Especially, I'll be honest, this year we've had a good number of blowouts.
Yeah.
And then, but it's an experience for those younger players to get in there. But tonight's game against Mater Academy, it's actually going to be really tough because a lot of their players, some of our girls have been on Team Florida, which is a travel team, and some of the players, and they know a lot of the players against Mater who have also been on Team Florida. So it's really going to come down. What do we always say in sports? That overused word. It's going to come down to execution.
Yeah, no doubt.
Who can kind of impose their will, and that's where if I was on the sideline, I'd bring that tennis perspective and experience to it. Now my daughter would be mortified by that, but that's what I would be able to bring.
Yeah, well, you're doing a good job being dad, Mal Washington. I hope you have fun watching that state championship game tonight. Hopefully Ponte Vedra gets it done. As a guy who grew up on that tennis circuit, which can be pretty intense, especially when you're young, how do you feel about youth sports right now with all the travel and everything? Because, there's a lot of things not to like about it. I think there are a lot of things to like about it. And I also really love the fact that high school still means something to these kids. Like winning the state championship will mean something, even though it might not be the highest level of ball they play. It feels like it means something to them. What's your overall thought right now on youth sports now that you've seen it from lacrosse to volleyball to softball to baseball to football?
Without question, winning a state championship is significant for the girls and for sports in general. And, with regard, with the advent of club ball and pay to play, it's good and bad. There are those opportunities. If you can afford to join a club team, there's that opportunity for you to get better quicker. But the thing is it excludes a lot of players. I don't know how many tens of thousands of players across many sports who don't have the ability, who can't afford to pay to play on a club. I can't tell you how many tens of thousands of dollars that we have spent over the years on gear, on plane trips, on hotel trips, just driving all over the Southeast, flying all over the country. And we're going to continue to do that for my daughter's, I guess, the next year and a half for her volleyball. So it excludes a lot of players, but there's still those opportunities for those, the player who can't necessarily afford it to get in there. But I will tell you, Brent, most high school players, I would say, or a great number of them, are not playing on club teams. And the level of competition is absolutely noticeable. When Ponte Vedra High School, who has, a handful of players who are playing outside of high school ball, and then you're playing against, a high school team where none of the players are playing outside of their team, and you might have some girls who's like, oh, you know what, I want to see if I can play volleyball this year. There's a distinct difference.
Huge,
so
yeah.
It's unfortunate that it happens, but it is the nature of sports in America right now.
Yeah, well, I'm glad it still means something for the high school kids. It will mean a lot for Ponte Vedra to get a state title tonight. Mal Washington with us. All right, hey, let's leave you with this. It's the holiday time. You guys, I think, just had a big drive around the Thanksgiving holiday with the Mal Washington Youth Foundation. Congrats on continuing to do some awesome things. The numbers are crazy with how much you've done in the community and for the youth and for those that are disadvantaged. Tell us a little bit, give us an update on the foundation and where you guys are going as we head into 2022.
No, I appreciate the opportunity to talk about it. I mean, we're in our 25th year here in Northeast Florida, and I want to give a shout-out to the Bowl School in Ponte Vedra, who for years and years and years have done a food drive for us. And I was at the Bowl School, I guess it was last Friday, and they presented us with a ton of food that, their kids raised. So next week, we're going to have a big packing, not a ceremony, but a packing event where we're just packing up a lot of foods. And that's going to be on Tuesday. And then on Wednesday, we're going to have a big delivery, a Thanksgiving delivery for our families. But we're just trying to impact a lot of families here on the First Coast, especially those kids, trying to help them realize their potential. And, we've come up with a system over 2.5 decades that works. And we love seeing kids advance from elementary, middle, high school, and then go on to college. And once they become young adults, it's awesome to really see what kind of impact they can have on the community. So appreciate you letting me talk a little bit about it.
Well, we appreciate all the work you do. Keep up the good work. Go win a state title tonight. Have fun being a dad, and hope they get it done.
I love being a dad, and thanks, Brent. I appreciate it.
All right.
Go Sharks.
No tennis talk at all, by the way. Mark it down.
Love it.
Have a good one, man.
Take care.
That's Mal Washington, former pro tennis player. We didn't talk tennis at all. I'll give you a little update on Mal. One time, he said he brought the tennis racket everywhere, out to kids like softball and baseball, and he would do the same. Sounds like he wants in the coaching game on the volleyball stuff.
Yeah.
Volleyball is fun. Volleyball is fun. And he also said something about the cost. Volleyball might be the most expensive of the travel stuff. It might be the most expensive.
I'll tell you, I was a problem on the volleyball court.
Were you?
Oh, I was a problem.
All right, quick story I'll tell you about volleyball. I went my high school was sophomore, junior, senior. So we were 10 through 12. We didn't have freshman year. I think they now do. Then middle school wasn't like 6, 7, 8 like it is, and then 9 through 12. So we're 7, 8, 9 middle school, 10, 11, 12 high school. And so my sophomore year, I'm really just looking. I swam in high school. I played baseball, and I'm looking for something to do in the fall, and I wasn't playing football. And so I actually go to signups and sit on the bleachers for volleyball. And I'm like, I don't know, let's give it a try. I mean, what the heck? It's volleyball. I don't know anything about it. And I'm small. Like, Ty's small. Well, I'm kind of small.
Shocker.
And I'm like, I'm sitting there. I'm like, can I play volleyball? Like, I'm like 4'11", it felt like,
Yeah.
I'm like, I can't play volleyball probably. And at the same time, I'm kind of thinking that the cross-country coach comes up to me and be like, hey, we need some more people out cross-country. And that's why I decided to run cross-country.
Probably a good move.
No, not really. I finished last in the state. I've told you that.
That's right.
Because they basically didn't have enough guys, so I wouldn't even have been running in the state.
Yeah.
Whatever. Yeah. But I had to run, and I finished last in the state. I only did cross-country 1 year. Well, I ended up going to a ton of volleyball games. The volleyball team's pretty good. Like, the volleyball team at our high school was good during my years there. Well, then I go to college. I meet Steph. She's playing volleyball. I start playing intramural volleyball.
Okay.
And
you were a problem out there.
We actually built, when we got to Rhode Island, because one of our stops was Rhode Island, actually, she stayed with us our senior year, like for a month. And we built a volleyball court, like on this patch of grass at my parents' house. Sand and everything.
Wow.
Like, dumped the sand and everything. And so that's how much we started playing volleyball.
Apparently.
And so, like, I love volleyball. But I should have played it in high school and instead of running that damn cross country. That was the worst thing I've ever done in my life was run cross country.
Well, yeah, running in general was probably bad.
And should have played volleyball is more of the story. I don't think I would have been that bad at it, actually, because you don't have to be tall. You can play defensive specialist.
Yeah. But, I mean,
That was like, I was wrong about that, though. You think volleyball, I got to be tall, I got to jump out of the gym. No, you don't need to do that.
I'm telling you, Brent.
I should have played volleyball.
We didn't have boys volleyball in high school.
Well, they don't down here. Ty actually, I think, could be a really good volleyball player. For some reason, he was around it when he was a kid, and Kaylee
I don't think it's some reason. I think we just figured out why he was around it.
But they can actually, they didn't play at all. But then in middle school, both of them played, and they were okay at it. And Ty can really pass. Like, obviously, again, he's not going to hit. He's not tall enough. But they don't have volleyball. And now I think it's coming to St. Johns County this year, but they move it to the spring. So you can't play baseball and volleyball in the spring.
Obviously. Yeah.
Everything's in the spring. Golf's in the spring, tennis in the spring. So
I was big mad about no volleyball in high school.
Yeah, I was a problem. Well, I did have it, and I just chose not to play it for some stupid reason. I wish I could go back. That would have been good. All right, so what I was getting at is Mal Washington, one time, we used to do, when we did the Dream 18 back in the day, we would play a golf hole in town. For 5 years, we did it this way. We played some of the hardest holes. We played par threes. We played with a kid from the first tee, a media member, the golf pro, and then a celebrity. And so we had Tom Coughlin, Urban Meyer, Tim Tebow. We had all these guys play, different holes. And Mal Washington played one year, and we actually played the hole with a tennis racket. That's what the moral of the story is.
Wow.
So he's not lying. He will take the tennis racket and put it into every sport.
How did that go?
It was pretty good. It was fun. We play.
Because the more I think about it, it might work.
It wasn't too bad.
If you could hit it straight.
Yeah, I have to go back and look. We might have hit our drives and then from there played it in. Or it might have been like a par 3. I'd have to go back and look. I can vaguely remember it, but it was years ago now. It was almost a decade ago that we did that. But Matt Washington doing great things with the Youth Foundation. His daughter is Zeta Washington, and she is really good volleyball player going to Cincinnati. They have a very good team. They could take their team and go play on the travel ball circuit, like club circuit. That's how good they are, just as their team. And I don't think there's too many high school teams you could say that about. Although we have good high school volleyball around here. They're not the only good team, but they are a little bit above everybody else. Tier. And they should win. I don't think he wanted to say it. I'll say it for him. They should win tonight, I think. Like the state championship game essentially was probably the one a couple weeks ago where they got out of the regional semis. Like they almost lost. They were down 2-1.
Yeah, I was following your tweets.
And they came back and won. They had it pretty easy, I would say, in quotes, easy, last week in the state semis. And my guess is they're going to bring home a title tonight.
And they've won how many in a row?
This would,
I believe,
be 3?
3 is what I thought.
3, I think he said, yeah. So
that's a good little run.
Yeah, good luck to the Ponte Vedra Sharks tonight in girls volleyball state championship. We'll have the highlights for that one tonight at 10:30 on Fox 30.
Speaking of volleyball, by the way,
CBS 47.
UNF is in the A-Sun Championship.
UNF's volleyball has been fantastic.
They've only lost once all year.
Incredible. So. I think school record for wins.
Yep.
And check them out on UNFospreys.com, of course, for their schedule and results and their postseason successes coming up. In fact, just a little bit, I think we might have UNF Ospreys men's basketball coach Matthew Driscoll on from UCLA. They play the second-ranked team in the country tonight. That and some more football talk on the way. Action Sports Jax on ESPN 690.
Now, the First Alert forecast on ESPN 690.
Partly to mostly sunny and mild today. Highs making it into the 70s. Partly cloudy tonight in the mid to upper 50s. And a pretty warm Thursday. It'll be partly sunny tomorrow with highs near 80 degrees. I'm Chief Meteorologist Mike Burrish. Join me today beginning at 5 p.m. on CBS 47 and Fox 30 Action News Jax.
The Weather Center is brought to you by Beard's Diamonds, where now you can save up to 41% off during Beard's anniversary sale.
Know what time it is? It's time to get moving. Cora Physical Therapy has opened a new state-of-the-art clinic in Kingsland on Boone and Haddock, and will be opening another one soon in Brunswick. With Cora, you have access to licensed, passionate clinicians, only the most innovative equipment, and life-changing therapies. Cora is all about treating everyone right now. It's your move. Visit CoraPhysicalTherapy.com for a free screening. No physician's referral required. Same-day appointments available.
I love football and I love chicken wings. Hey, everybody, this is Brent Mortno. We are a lot alike, right? You love football and you love wings. Let's win the week with Extreme Wings Sports Grill. 4 locations in Jacksonville, Atlantic Boulevard, Ocean Way, 210 in St. Johns County, and the new location on Roosevelt Boulevard near NAS Jax, serving up the freshest, never frozen, world-famous extreme hot wings to Jacksonville since 1999. We like football. We like wings. We love a good deal. To celebrate the grand opening of the Extreme Wings Roosevelt location, get 6 wings, french fries, and a drink for just $12.99 at the Roosevelt location. 6 wings, french fries, and a drink, just $12.99. Active military gets special discounts. Jalapeno ranch, Caribbean jerk, spicy blue cheese, lemon pepper. So many flavors to choose from. And, of course, they can make them extreme if you want. Plenty of space at Extreme Wings Sports Grill locations. If you're looking for a place for the entire team, try Extreme Wings Sports Grill. I love it. You'll love it. 4 locations in Jacksonville, including Roosevelt Boulevard near NAS Jax.
Hey, I'm Carrie.
And I'm Bruce. We're the owners of Koala Insulation. Don't let the milder temperatures lull you into complacency. Fuel prices will continue to rise, as will your utility bills. Call us today and take advantage of our fall prices. We don't quote over the phone or just poke our heads up in your attic. We do a full evaluation to include attic ventilation needs as well as insulation.
Give us a call at 904-679-6282 or online at koalainsulation.com.
Jeeps, Chevys, Fords, Hondas, Toyotas, and more. Toyotathon is on, including all makes and models at Arlington Toyota Pre-Owned. Arlington's got 300 used available. Plus, you'll buy with total confidence thanks to Arlington's 30-day exchange program that comes with your purchase. That's 30 days to love your purchase or exchange it. Toyotathon is on, even on used at Arlington Toyota. Shop in person, 10939 Atlanta Boulevard, and online at arlingtontoyota.com today. Visit arlingtontoyota.com/Toyotathon for full details.
Look, boss, there's another Safe Touch house.
Just play it cool, drive on by.
Word on the street is these new Safe Touch security video cameras are really pinching the burglary business.
Yeah? How so?
Well, the cameras are integrated with the Safe Touch app, right? So the homeowner gets notified when someone even gets close to the house.
So that protects the entire property then?
Exactly. Driveway burglaries are a thing of the past now with these Safe Touch cameras.
Driveway break-ins. The low-hanging fruit of the burglary biz.
Yup. Boss, I heard someone even got busted for letting their dog poop in someone's yard.
Ha! Caught in the act with a Safe Touch security camera. Priceless.
Yeah, it keeps our job pretty simple. See a Safe Touch sign? Just drive on by.
Now, for a limited time, the Safe Touch Advantage plan includes free equipment and installation for new customers with an Advantage monitoring agreement. The Safe Touch doorbell camera, a $200 value, can be added for just $99. Call Safe Touch today at 888-723-8682 or go to safetouch.com. State license number EF233.
Diabetes, high blood pressure, anxiety meds, everyone's on them. If you're a 50-year-old male, maybe a bit porky, and you may even have type 2 diabetes, $1 million of term insurance may only cost you about $200 a month. Call Term Provider. Speak with Big Lou at 800-333-1750. Big Lou will find a term life policy for you even if you have type 2 diabetes, are overweight, or have high blood pressure. Term Provider has helped thousands of people like you who think they can't afford term life insurance. To buy $1 million of affordable term life for you, all you need to do is call Big Lou at 800-333-1750. Lou will make sure the scales are tipped in your favor. Call 800-333-1750. Big Lou will answer your call and work to fit you into a term life policy that you can afford. Remember, Big Lou's like you. He's on meds, too. Call 800-333-1750. 800-333-1750.
The right time for the best water is right now. CGC Water Treatment wants to make sure your family's water is clean, healthy, and tastes great. CGC Water's done that for my family for a handful of years now, and it all starts with a Connecticut system. American-made and installed by the pros at CGC Water Treatment. Contact CGC Water Treatment now for your free water test. Connecticut systems remove up to 99% of contaminants. Remember, if you're not filtering your water, you are the filter. Don't be the filter. Connecticut makes the world's most efficient softeners, twin tank, non-electric systems that use less salt and water during regeneration. Right now, save up to $600 on select system packages. Financing available with approved credit. Just call CGC Water at 904-552-1242 and ask about the Conway Club, the new service program that will save you money on salt, filters, delivery, parts, and labor. Call 904-552-1242 or visit cgcwater.com. Proud partners of the Jacksonville Jaguars and your local independent Connecticut dealer. Hey everybody, it's Brent Martineau from Action Sports Jax. There's a good chance you have a smart speaker, so use it with ESPN 690. Stay up to date on the Jags and all things sports by telling Alexa or Google to play ESPN 690. It's as easy as that. Make sure you listen weekdays 3 until 6 p.m. on ESPN 690.
It's hard, yeah. It's hard to, and I obviously haven't been a part of this. Is my first year, so it changes, especially in the NFL compared to college and high school. It's different. Money's involved and all. But there's a bunch of personalities, and luckily on our team we don't have a bunch of huge egos. But you see other places when guys start pointing fingers, and it's really hard to recover from that. Egos start getting too big, and you can't keep everybody happy, and that's just the one thing we can't do. We got to stick together, and that's one thing I think Coach Meyer does a great job of. No matter win or lose, that's his main message: stick together. No matter what happens, it's a long season. Every week, just stick together, keep fighting, and we've done that, and I like where we're at.
That is Trevor Lawrence, of course, Jaguars rookie quarterback. Hopefully plays a little bit better over these last 8 games than the last 3 games. He's had some good moments, but he needs some more. No doubt about it, and the Jaguars need more as well. It's interesting that he just said that about Urban Meyer keeping the locker room together. And I don't want to be over the top about this because I know you got to be careful when you talk Urban Meyer a little bit. It feels like I was down there again today. That's why I like going down the building. You kind of feel stuff instead of just like hearing it off the Zoom call or Twitter or YouTube or the camera when we're recording it, whatever. And I said this like a week ago when they beat the Bills, and I think I'm right about this. He's got his mojo back. He's got a little bit of his swag back after the last month and what happened after Cincinnati. And quite honestly, I don't know if we thought he would get it back. And in the meantime, he's kept the locker room together. And I think you got to give a lot of credit to the players and the leadership in the locker room for doing that. I don't think we can give too much credit to Urban. Maybe it's more the locker room. But I think Trevor just said it too, right? And we know he speaks players, best for the players. He speaks highly of the players all the time. He's got the players' attention. You see the celebration after the Bills game. I'm not saying every guy was like raising them, picking them up, but there were some guys picking them up and like, yeah, man, we got the dub. Like they were excited that he was their coach and they got the win. Like that was pretty evident. So I was leaving there today and I was just thinking, this is an Urban that's kind of settled back in to what the task was. This is an Urban that I said yesterday a little bit, handles losing probably better than some thought, still kept this thing together, hasn't gone off the rails despite the incident after the Cincinnati loss. And now can he get that to equal more W's in the second half of the year? Now can he find the groove in terms of getting them over the top of the W part? Because this is a team that's lost so much. It's a franchise that lost so much. It's within the walls in there. And he's going to try to flush that out of there. But I tell you, after the Cincinnati game, we all wondered, does he now have the bravado? Does he now have the trust? Does he now have their attention to be able to be the guy to flush that out of there? What I'm trying to tell you is I think some of that's back. Now I got to see the wins to prove it.
Yeah, and you're probably going to laugh, or somebody out there is going to laugh. I really think it is a good locker room because when you look at the guys that usually have the big personalities, and Trevor talked about this a little bit, we'll probably hear that sound later in the show, but at cornerback, for example, you had one of those here. Shaq Griffin seems like an all-world good guy.
Yep.
Like his press conferences are fun. At the wide receiver position, Marvin Jones seems like a good guy. James Robinson is obviously not a drama anything. So I feel like he really does have a good locker room, and it's easier, I think, to rally around a locker room like that than if you try to do it with guys like Jalen Ramsey and whatnot who were here.
Yeah, I think you do have to have the right guys. And listen, you have to eventually you got to get W's. But whether you some of this sounds bad because they're 2-7 and you're like, Brent, they're offensive. They can't score. He's an offensive guy. People still pick apart what he says in the press conferences. Like, I didn't know he had 18 drops. Like, he's so I don't know why he puts himself out there like that. Like, I think one of Urban's Urban's probably had 3 issues. Well,
the one
in front of, not even that. I mean, just say 3 issues in terms of what he's saying. One, I think he's almost too transparent at times. And it gets him in trouble like that. Like, you don't have to say, oh, I didn't know that. As he knew that they had a lot of drops. Maybe he thought it was 17 or 19 and didn't know it was 18. You don't have to tell us. Like, he's too transparent sometimes when it comes to that.
Yeah. Maybe their numbers were like 34 and he heard 18. He's like, oh, 18? Could be worse.
Yeah. Yeah,
I mean,
maybe our numbers are way higher. That's a really good point. Maybe he didn't want to let on, wait till you see this, you know? But I think a lot of that is, like, the reality of that is, I think he lets his coaches coach. I don't think he is deep diving into some of this stuff. I think he's in the meetings, but he's not micromanaging. I could be wrong about that, but I don't get the sense like he's micromanaging everything in the building. He was brought on to be this CEO type guy, like culture guy. People who change cultures don't necessarily know what button you're pushing on the board. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, if we have somebody in upper management, they don't know exactly what we do 3 to 6 every day.
No clue, some would say.
No, especially us.
Right.
But they have a feel for the building, right? And they're trying to get the building to produce this and all 8 radio stations to build this. Well, I know football's different in that sense, and we envision the coach making every call and everything being stopped and going through him. I just don't know if Urban works that way. I don't know if that's the way he's wired. I don't think that's the way he runs his program. I think he lets his guys coach. Now, like I said earlier in the show, and I've said this countless times, you can criticize who he has coaching. Is Sanjay Lal the answer at wide receiver coach? Doesn't look to be right now.
No.
Doesn't look to be.
Yeah.
Is Darrell Bevell the answer? I don't know, and a lot of people would say no, so maybe that's a bad hire, and we could be doing this whole Gus Bradley thing all over again, where the worst hire he ever made was Jed Fish, and it set everything back. Well, if this is a bad hire for Bevell, well, then that means it's probably going to go sour here in Jacksonville and not good for the quarterback, and it delays your growth from the quarterback position unless Schottenheimer can come in and rescue it. But I do think people envision Urban like, hey, he's this winningest coach of all time. He's this great coach. He knows offense. He is in every meet like he's Sean McVay. No, I don't think that's it. Like Sean McVay and Kyle Shanahan, that's all they care about. Go ask them how many missed assignments on defense there are in San Francisco and in L.A., and I bet they can't answer it. You know why? Because their head's buried in the offensive playbook and trying to come up with the right plays.
Right.
Guys do it different is my point. And I'm not saying there's a right way. The right way is the winning way. But guys do it different, and I think Urban does it kind of from that broader approach, caring all about the players, the psyche of the players, the competitive nature of the players, the mindset of the players, and lets his coaches do the X's and O's stuff of what goes on. And I think he kind of gets himself in trouble sometimes in a news conference because of that.
Yeah, I just think it's funny, and you've mentioned this before, that we're now mad at the coach that's actually answering the questions versus the coaches that don't answer the questions, and now we're mad about that. But I think yeah, the bigger problem would be the coaches that are doing the coaching, because if I'm playing for the Jags and I don't know, Andrew Norwell, that's a bad example because he played for Urban in college, Jawan Taylor, I wouldn't want Urban in my offensive line meetings. Like, what is he going to tell me that I can't already be coached?
Yeah. I agree. I think Urban came in here and he's like the performance guy, and he's going to bring the best of everything, and the food's going to taste better, and you're not going to have to pay for needling and massages, and that's what he's brought. And you know what? He's delivered that for those guys. Now, he's also supposed to get the best out of players because of that. Okay. Some examples of that, some not so great examples of that. Like, this is the best football we've ever seen out of Taven Bryan.
Against all odds.
I mean, is that Joe Cullen? Is that Urban Meyer's culture? I don't know. Laviska Shenault, not so much right now. Is that Urban Meyer can't get to him? Is that Sanjay Lal? Is that just the player? Again, we don't really know, but we have examples of good and bad. And when you have 53 guys on a team, I'm sure there's going to be examples of good and bad.
Sure.
But I think Taven is an interesting example, because if you go back to when Urban was hired, I said, I feel like Urban is the guy that will get the best out of a player like Taven Bryan. Now, he's still got 8 games to go here to see if it's just a 2-game thing, or is this a thing now? We'll find out. And again, I don't think you can dismiss what Joe Cullen's doing, because Cullen, as Austin will often say, he's the guy that will get the best out of that guy too. And I think Joe Cullen's doing that with Taven Bryan. So I don't know where the accolades should go. And right now, there shouldn't be too many. They're 2-7.
Yeah.
But I do think these next 8 games, the moral of this conversation for me is, I left that building today, and once again, when you're around it, and I saw Urban on Sunday too, even coming off the loss, the body language, the tone, it's brewing potentially to turn around a little bit in these last 8 games. Now, can they get it done? Can they win? And can they win games? Like, can they win 3 or 4 games down the stretch? That would be monumental for what Urban's trying to do, and for what the Jags haven't been able to do really for a long time. So it's an interesting watch to see how this unfolds. I do think that situation from a month ago is deep in the rear view now, and they have an opportunity, and it starts Sunday with the San Francisco 49ers. Speaking of an opportunity, well, the UNF Ospreys have a big opportunity tonight to upset the second-ranked team in the nation. and they get to play them, the UCLA Bruins. And the road trip continues. Matthew Driscoll, men's basketball coach at UNF, joins us right now. Coach, what's happening? How's the West Coast?
Hey, 8 flights, 4 hotels, 11 days, 5 games. Let me ask you guys a question, Roy. Is Austin with you?
Nah, he's got a fight Sunday, so he's on to testing and stuff.
Hey, let me ask you this question. When I tell you Beverly Hills, tell me what comes to mind immediately, quickly.
Shopping.
Okay. I thought, maybe Eddie Murphy movie, right?
Yeah, that's good too.
Yeah, Beverly Hillbillies. I'm 57, right? So
Yeah,
Beverly Hillbillies, right?
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Right?
Plastic surgery.
I don't know about no Botox and stuff like that, but I'm going to say this to you. You know what Beverly Hills mean?
What?
There's a lot of hills out here. I just went for my daily run before the game. Holy cow. I thought we're so close to the ocean. I thought we were close to sea level. Man, Beverly Hills means they got hills. I guess that's that slippery rock degree coming out. But I tell you what, I just spent some time down at the Los Angeles National Cemetery, which is the Arlington Cemetery of the West. And it's amazing and how powerful it was and how grateful. And I know you do a great job as well, too, with this. But I know Veterans Day was last week, and we were on the road. But I'm going to tell you what, man, Saturday we're honoring our veterans again. And I tell you what, man, it was powerful. But it's been a great trip. It's really good. It's, the guys have had to adapt to a bunch of things. You know what the hardest thing is, Brent, they've had to adapt to?
Each other?
Well, you're sort of on the right path because, there was a little bit of separation last year because of what transpired, but fans in the stands.
Oh,
fans in the stands.
Yeah.
I mean, if there was nobody in the stands. So we go to Texas Tech, it's blasting, right? Texas A&M was that quick flip, right? Grand Canyon, 7,000 strong, going crazy, third best atmosphere in the country. Arizona State obviously just came off a loss, and we jumped on them early, so obviously that wasn't a great place. And I think one guy got removed. He was saying so many bad things about me. And then tonight, UCLA, number 2 in the country. So these guys have never had this kind of experience before. The younger guys, of course, Carter and EA and Tori and Jose, they have, but a lot of guys that are playing a lot of minutes, it's been new for them. So it's been a little bit of an adjustment for them and thankful for them. We've obviously played well. We've defended much better.
Mm-hmm.
We haven't. The thing we haven't done, Brent, is we haven't been consistent. And I know sometimes you say, well, that just goes along with the territory, but consistency obviously is the key to life. Consistency in your eating habits, consistency in your exercise, and consistency in how much time you spend with your wife and your family and all those things. And that consistency hasn't been like we've needed it to be. And I really want us to continue to grow through that. And obviously playing the number 2 in the country is not the best way. Not the best way to go through that. But that's, and me, to our guys, it's all about how we're going to win the game and what we're going to do to win the game. And our guys understand that. Our guys know that. And I'm super, super excited because this opportunity in and of itself, I just love our guys, esprit de corps. I love our spirit right now. And I really think, I told you before, I think we have a chance to have a special group. We just gotta trust. And, I've been doing some research and really finding out, Brent, that accountability is really provides a unique opportunity to be a good communicator. Because when you're accountable, you got confidence. When you're accountable, when you're accountable, you can say it's my fault. When you're accountable, it brings about a great opportunity for unique communication. And I think with that is where trust comes in. So I'm really excited about that aspect of it and how we've got. By the way, I jogged on the Avenue of the Stars just for you. Yeah. And I thought about you. I did not see your name, but I certainly did think about you.
Well, I appreciate that. Matthew Driscoll with us, UNF men's basketball coach. Ospreys play UCLA tonight, second-ranked team in the country. It's been a crazy road trip already. I have so many questions for you, but I want to get back to the guy that got kicked out for heckling. You've been doing this a long time. Sometimes when you get heckled, is there a moment where you almost want to laugh? Do you hear some stuff that's okay, that was pretty good.
That's awesome. So the one game, a couple games ago, I think it was Texas Tech I think it was Grand Canyon. At Grand Canyon, some guy made a comment are y'all going to make a shot or something like that? And I turned, and I'm like, I hear you. I hear you. I hear you. Because it was like 29 or something to 15. It was a low-scoring game on both sides. Sometimes you want to turn around and be like, I don't cuss, but you want to be like, no crap. You know what I mean? Like I'm with you, bro. Yeah. And you know what? Most people are really good about it, and no one's ever crossed the lines. I think they thought he might have been crossing the lines. I can't remember. He wasn't really saying anything nasty about me. We just happened to be playing real well and possibly, meeting their team for a second time. So passionate person, hopefully he's not a season ticket holder. If he is, he got his tickets revoked. But the other thing too is, Brent, when you're on these kind of trips, like I'll tell you something else. You know what's way more popular with kids than I ever imagined?
No.
Laser tag.
Oh, really?
So we went to this joint the other day, right? And I didn't go because sometimes I like the guys to go by themselves. Though I am a very good bowler. The staff is still undefeated. I want to go on record saying that. But we took them to kind of a night out Saturday night, and so I asked all the guys, what was the best part? And like they were playing pool and ping pong and games, and they're like, man, laser tag was fun, Coach. And like Coach Evans is like, Hall of Fame, athletic, and got some size on him. I said, Coach, what? He said, man, Coach, laser tag is fun. So
as a kid in all of us.
So, hey, but I'm just saying, bowling and laser tag. I told the guys like, yeah, Coach, I bowled a 160, and now when you come out, we're gonna pump the brakes. Y'all were using bumpers.
We let them use bumpers.
we ain't used it. They're like, man, we didn't use no bumper. I was like, listen, I'm just telling you what it said on TikTok. TikTok said y'all was using bumpers. So how everybody likes that social media presence.
So hey, let me ask you about I will say this. I noticed you guys are usually every year, and you will be. By the time you get into your mid-major play, if you will, probably in conference play.
Into reality.
Yeah. When you're offensively efficient. That's what you've done ever since you've been here at UNF. The offense, like you said, has been inconsistent. I mean, 14 points, I think it was in the second half. I forget which game. I mean, that's like, whoa, that's odd, right?
Me too.
So is that kind of what? Do you feel a little bit better coming off Arizona State, where I thought you almost stole a game, yet you were in position to steal it the other night?
Well, first of all, it's a 4-point game at Texas A&M with 10 to go.
Yep.
Grand Canyon, we cut it to 6 in the second half. And by the way, let me finish. And then, of course, Arizona State was back and forth and that. And so our guys obviously showed that consistency that we've always had as far as fight. Our program's always had that fight. But from an offensive standpoint, like Jose never got going until the other night.
Yeah.
He was 0 for 11 coming into the game from 3. So, he was really struggling and wasn't really feeling himself, so to speak. Carter, of course, was playing well. So, major guards, they're usually an inch and a half to 2 inches taller, and they're usually 30-ish pounds heavier, and they have incredible length. These high major guards have incredible length. And I'm telling you what's crazy, Brent. You talk about the transfer portal. Obviously, it's not that important to you, but you do the research on these teams we play. Like, they are so old and experienced. It's unbelievable. Like, Texas Tech had 6 dudes from the transfer portal that could have been a starting team in the Big 12.
Wow.
Texas A&M's best player, the Wyoming kid, was freshman of the year, and Coleman was from Duke, had a great game against us. Grand Canyon, man, they had a dude that started at Arizona State. He started at Arizona State. He's starting at Grand Canyon, number 11. The kid, he's very talented. And they had 2 or 3, and then, of course, tonight is just the opposite. It's a team. UCLA, they're really, really fun to watch. Coach isn't happy. And by the way, a lot of people think that we're brothers from another mother. We've gotten mistaken a couple times, believe it or not.
Yeah, you and Mick Cronin look similar.
He came up to me and said, Coach Cronin? And I turned around. It was some lady, about middle-aged lady. I was like, that ain't me. I don't know what you need it for, but that ain't me. But when you look at this team and you look at UCLA, like, first of all these dudes came back because they want to win a championship. They want to do something special. And, Zhang, I'm telling you right now, Brent, when you watch the game tonight, I really studied him in the last 12 hours. He's about as close to Devin Booker. And I know he was in Kentucky for a reason, and he transferred back home to UCLA. Like, he's about as close to Devin Booker. His middle game is unbelievable. It's unbelievable. And, you know, and you look at the little kid, I say little 5'11", Campbell, you know, he shot 26% from three last year. And you talk about a guy that just got in the gym and worked and knew that I got to be better at that if our team wants to do what we want to do. Next thing you know, he's knocking that thing down like it's nobody's business with incredible confidence. And then number one, I forget his last name, but number one, the lefty they got is just a beast. Like he just rise up, and then they got 24. I can't even say his name, but number 24, like he just plays so hard, and he does all the little things, and he just he'll remind you of like a Bo Beach or a Carter Henderson type of guy, and he's just really talented, and so it'll be great. It's interesting, Brent, in the arena. Seats about 14,000, a little bit shy of 14, and they have one seat that's gold. And obviously we did our due diligence, and it was the seat that Coach Wooden sat in.
That's awesome.
And in 2003, when the murders took place, Coach and I were out here, and I took him to a clinic because I wanted him to meet some people because I know he wanted to become a high major coach. So I said, Coach, you got to let me use my sources and my resources and get you in front of some people. So he committed to coming out with me to this big-time coaching clinic, and part of the speaking was Coach Wooden. And he was 92 years old when he spoke, 99 when he passed.
Wow.
So we were out here. And the Baylor murder, the recorded conversation with the assistant just went public. And Coach and I just arrived. And it was crazy how much, like, I knew at that moment that Coach was going to be the coach. I'm just telling you, Brent. And as good as God is, we ran into Tim Floyd, the NBA coach, who coaches Coach's brother, and his best friend in college was Kim Mulkey Robertson's husband, who was the head coach of Baylor women's basketball, and it kind of started the whole thing. And I tell you all the time, it's all about dots on the map and how you treat people. And but UCLA's they're really talented. They're going to obviously give us a lot of different situations because they're all similar size, so they switch a lot. They do different things. They really post up those 6'7" guys a lot. So we really guarded the rim well the other day, but we let ourselves down at the three for the first time on the whole trip. So consistency. We got to put those things together, you know.
Matthew Driscoll with us, UNF Ospreys coach. I got UCLA tonight, second-ranked team in the country to finish off this road trip. Back home on Saturday, by the way. I'll call that game 2 o'clock, and they'll honor the military there at UNF Arena as well on Saturday. All right, Coach, I love you. You know it, but you got to do me a favor now. I got to get out in like 2 minutes, but I got 2 quick questions for you. And
okay, good luck.
I know it. How many books of John Wooden's have you read?
So I'm not a reader. I've never been a reader. I've never read the Bible. But I love to read, and I love other people to read and give me notes. So I'd say 4. All right.
You know, I was going to say 7-point creed. Like, have you heard of that kind of stuff? Like with Wooden. I mean, do you live by anything Wooden?
Of course, I'm a quick but don't hurry kind of guy. I'm obviously about being genuine and treating people the right way and all those kind of things. So yeah, there's 2 or 3 things about that I've learned over with his triangle, with his pyramid of success.
Yeah.
That I've utilized. Absolutely. 100%.
I was going to say between Vince Lombardi and Wooden, you'd think like every coach that's ever coached has taken some principle of theirs, right?
I think so. 100%. I think maybe Coach K and Izzo and Nick Saban for maybe guys that are a little bit younger in that era. You know, those guys will probably live by those guys. Belichick lived by those guys in that next era down. So 100%. Yeah.
Yeah, okay, and last one. What is the holy grail of men's college basketball to play? Is it UCLA? Is it Duke? Is it Kentucky? Like, if you can, is it Pauley Pavilion tonight? Like, I mean, you walk in there and you're like, whoa.
So you walk in there and it's exactly what you think. It's clean. It's very, very professional. It's not gaudy at all. The only thing they hang is championship banners.
Yeah.
Like, it's not gaudy at all. It's very professional. And I would say this, I've coached in all of them except Kentucky, which I'll do that next week.
Yes.
So I've been Duke, Carolina. I mean, I've been all those, Kansas. I've been all those places. Kansas is a little different. Like, they're a little different there. Duke, they're very, very different there. So I would say, you know, until, of course, I haven't experienced the atmosphere yet, the aura. But I would say Man, Kansas and Duke, they're pretty tough.
Yeah, pretty well. But obviously, you'll stress this to the kids and to your players. I mean, in a week's time, they're going to play at UCLA in Kentucky. I mean, that's unbelievable. That's unbelievable.
So the TV guy did the game the other day. I talked about nostalgia and all that stuff 20 years from now. And he said, Coach, I was an NAIA pitcher, but I'll never forget when I threw against Mississippi State. I'm in the Hall of Fame at my school, and I talk about throwing to Mississippi State. So, 20 years from now, you're 100% right. But a couple hours from now, we got to worry about UNF playing UCLA.
Yeah. Hey, go get it done, and hopefully you didn't buy any shoes in Beverly Hills or anything. It would have cost a lot of money.
No, don't worry about that. I already called in my credit card stolen, so I'm good.
Hey, man, good luck tonight. We appreciate taking a few minutes, and safe travels back. We'll see you on Saturday.
Thank you, my brother.
All right, that's Matthew Driscoll, UNF men's basketball coach. And, well, you know the schedule. We've talked about it. Texas Tech, Texas A&M, Grand Canyon, Arizona State. They finish up the road trip with UCLA, second-ranked team in the country. They come back home, hopefully get a dub on Saturday here at home, and then they go play Kentucky next week. I mean, it's insane. It is absolutely insane. Make sure at the end of the day, when you look at Matthew Driscoll's record, you count like 70 guarantee games in there as well. I mean, it's ridiculous what they do and what they've done, but cool experiences like this one tonight against UCLA. All right, we're way against it. Football at 5 coming up. Action Sports Jax on ESPN 690 rolls on right after this.
Once-in-a-lifetime savings.
Before the holidays?
It's never been done before.
Beards Diamond's incredible 41st anniversary sale.
Everything store-wide is on sale up to an unbelievable 41% off.
Believe it.
But it's only happening till November 30th.
If you're getting married, celebrating an anniversary, or shopping early for the holidays,
you do not want to miss this once-in-a-lifetime sale.
Beards Diamonds always has the largest inventory in North Florida. But now there's even more.
Designers have sent their best stuff, especially for this sale.
Loose diamonds, mounted diamonds, diamond earrings, necklaces, and more.
All on sale up to 41% off.
Beards Diamonds has been family owned and operated in Jacksonville for over 41 years. And to say thank you, they're discounting everything in the store up to 41% off.
A sale so big, it's never been done before because Beards Diamonds will never be beat on price.
Beards Diamonds 41st anniversary sale, now through November 30th.
At the St. John's Town Center or at beardsdiamonds.com.
We all hear the radio ads about the IRS. They tell you to be afraid, to be scared, and they try to frighten you into calling. I'm not here to do that. Tax Relief Advocates is different. TRA is here to tell you that if you owe money to the IRS, whether it's $5,000, $50,000, or $500,000, we have a solution. It doesn't matter if you're sitting in your car, at work, or with your kids. No matter where you are, call now. 800-530-9353. Don't lose hope. TRA can eliminate or reduce what you owe to the IRS. There is zero risk to you. If we can't reduce your tax debt, then you pay nothing. Our passion is taxes and helping individuals fix their IRS problems. We have a 5-star rating on Google and Yelp and an A+ with the Better Business Bureau. You don't need to be afraid of the IRS any longer. End your tax nightmare today by visiting us online at TRA.com or call 800-530-9353. That's 800-530-9353. Tax Relief Advocates. Real solutions for real people.
Hey team, we landed the contract!
Kaya's web design studio just landed the gig of a lifetime.
It starts next week.
Their staff needs to double before the dream deal becomes a nightmare.
I need front end, back end, a project manager.
Indeed can help them hire great people fast.
I need Indeed.
Indeed you do. Instant Match instantly connects you with quality candidates whose resumes on Indeed match your sponsored job description. Visit Indeed.com/credit and get $75 towards your first sponsored job. Terms and conditions apply.
Don't let a cold keep you up. Take NyQuil Severe for max strength relief for your worst cold and flu symptoms so you can rest tonight and get back at it tomorrow. NyQuil Severe gives you powerful relief for your worst cold and flu symptoms. NyQuil Severe temporarily relieves common cold and flu symptoms, including cough, sore throat, headache, minor aches and pains, fever, runny nose, and sneezing. NyQuil, the nighttime sniffling, sneezing, coughing, aching, stuffy head, best sleep with a cold medicine. Use as directed.
Napa know-how.
When you buy the Napa bag for 99 cents, you'll get 20% off 3 or more items. No other bag saves you 20% on wipers, premium oil, headlamps, and more, which makes the Napa bag the best bag in the world. Sorry, handbags, man bags, punching bags, bagpipes, and even you, bags out of the eyes. Quality parts, helpful people. That's Napa know-how. Napa know-how. At participating locations, does not include taxes and fees. Advertised sale price not available in some states. Offer ends 11/30/21.
Whether you're a rock-solid hard athlete or a hardcore fan, in Little League, a pro, or a weekend warrior, Cora Physical Therapy is here to help you reach your goals. We're happy to announce that Cora is now open in Kingsland, on Boone and Haddock, and we're coming soon to Brunswick. With a total of 17 clinics in the Jacksonville region, there's sure to be one near your home or work. Call or come in today for a free screening. No physician's referral needed. CoraPhysicalTherapy.com, treating everyone right.
Looking for a great career that can take you places? The Jacksonville Transportation Authority offers miles of opportunity, and the JTA is now hiring bus operators. We offer competitive pay and benefits with a starting wage of $16.43 per hour. We're offering hiring bonuses from $10,000 to $15,000. CDL training is available, and JTA will pay for relocation to Florida. And the Sunshine State has no income tax, so your paycheck goes further. Stop looking for a job. Get yourself a new career with the JTA.
I don't know about you, but I'm ready to let the good times roll. And by roll, I mean roll on home in a brand new Toyota, because Toyotathon is on at Arlington Toyota. Camry, Corolla, RAV4, Tundra, Tacoma. Arlington Toyota has 300 new Toyotas available. And with Arlington's 30-day exchange program and lifetime warranty with every new purchase, buying your new Toyota's more fun than ever. Toyotathon is on at Arlington, 10939 Atlanta Boulevard, or online anytime at arlingtontoyota.com. Visit arlingtontoyota.com/Toyotathon for full details.
After a car accident, you can feel like you've lost control. I'm Mark Anajar from the law offices of Anajar and Levine. After the crash, call the police and document the scene by taking photos of all the vehicles involved. If you were injured, get medical attention as soon as possible. If you've been involved in a car accident, call the law offices of Anajar and Levine at 904-600-4000. That's 904-600-4000 for a free consultation. And take back control of your life.
Office in Jacksonville.
The right time for the best water is right now. CGC Water Treatment wants to make sure your family's water is clean, healthy, and tastes great. CGC Water's done that for my family for a handful of years now, and it all starts with a Connecticut system. American-made and installed by the pros at CGC Water Treatment. Contact CGC Water Treatment now for your free water test. Connecticut systems remove up to 99% of contaminants. Remember, if you're not filtering your water, you are the filter. Don't be the filter. Connecticut makes the world's most efficient softeners, twin tank, non-electric systems that use less salt and water during regeneration. Right now, save up to $600 on select system packages. Financing available with approved credit. Just call CGC Water at 904-552-1242 and ask about the Conway Club, the new service program that will save you money on salt, filters, delivery, parts, and labor. Call 904-552-1242 or visit cgcwater.com. Proud partners of the Jacksonville Jaguars and your local independent Connecticut dealer.
Naomi Mathis, Air Force veteran.
I'm Adam Greathouse, United States Army.
Greg Gatson, Colonel, United States Army.
When I came back home, I realized something wasn't right with me.
I was wounded as a battalion commander.
I thought I was going to be stuck there. I thought everyone forgot me.
Hi, I'm Representative Kat Kamak. This year, let's make sure our veterans get the support they need and deserve. Let's take the time to thank those who put everything on the line for us.
This message brought to you by the National Association of Broadcasters and this station.
Get in zone, AutoZone.
Welcome to AutoZone. What are you working on today? So your wipers are streaking. It might be time for a new set. We've got a great deal to help you get the job done and be ready for the weather ahead. Right now, you can get a $15 AutoZone gift card by mail or email when you buy 2 Bosch Envision wiper blades. And we've got even more ways to shop. Just order online with our free same-day store pickup or next-day delivery.
Get in the zone, AutoZone.
Start your job today at AutoZone.com. Restrictions apply.
5G is here, but the big carriers want you to sign a pricey long-term contract to get in on the action. Well, no more, because Straight Talk Wireless has rolled out 5G coverage nationwide, with plans starting at just $35 a month with no contract. And get a Samsung Galaxy A32 5G for only $299, all on America's best networks. 5G coverage, 5G phones, less money. Straight Talk Wireless, no contract, no compromise. 5G capable device required, actual availability, coverage, and speed may vary.
Broadcasting live from the ESPN 690 Anajar and Levine studios. Anajar and Levine Accident Attorneys. Call 904-600-4000. That's 904-600-4000. ESPN 690. Jacksonville's home for ESPN Radio. WOKV Jacksonville. Listen live everywhere you go on ESPN690.com. ESPN 690, a Cox Media Group station. Broadcasting live from the ESPN 690 Anajar and Levine studios.
This is Action Sports Jax on ESPN 690 with Brent Martineau and Austin Lane.
There's always a lot of things, whenever after a game, practice, whatever it is, if you feel like you had a good day or bad day, it's usually not as good or as bad as you thought. So going back and looking at it, obviously there was a lot of things that I could have done better. Thought I could have been, more accurate down the stretch. Obviously when the ball's in my hand at the end of the game, got to take care of it, have a chance to go win. I felt like we had a bunch of momentum, got to finish there. So those are the two obvious things. But then I think just communication amongst the offense between me and the wideouts, running backs, O-line, everybody, tight ends. It just has to be better throughout the week. And I think you saw some of those miscues on Sunday. So that stuff, we had a great day today. I thought we were letting it loose.
Hopefully that means well and good performances coming up on Sunday for the Jacksonville Jaguars. That's Trevor Lawrence, of course, reliving a little bit of last Sunday. Moving on to this Sunday against San Francisco 49ers. By the way, we'll have ESPN 690 Game Day live from the Duval House Sunday morning, 9 a.m. until 11 a.m. The 1 o'clock kicks, by the way, for these West Coast teams, it's not easy. That is early for those guys and their body clock. So that's a bit of an advantage and might have been one of the reasons why the Jags played well against Arizona. So keep an eye on that with San Francisco. Much like the Jags go on the West Coast, and that seems to throw them off, and they can't ever do well out there. Keep an eye on it. Now, not all the time. Some teams are, by the way, usually if you're better, you're better. So I'm a big believer if you're better, you're better. And kind of Arizona was better even with their B, maybe even C game that day. And that's why they ended up coming back and beating the Jags. But there is a thing about that. They're playing 10 o'clock in the morning, essentially, on their body clock. That's a little bit different. A lot of times the West Coast teams will come and it'll be a 4 o'clock game. Not the case here in town on Sunday.
I don't think San Francisco's C team is better than the Jags A team.
Well, that's a
it's
good
not
point.
like that with Arizona.
Yeah, that's a very fair point for sure. So Brent Martineau, Casey Kurtz, Austin out for the rest of the week. He's got his fight coming up on Sunday. We'll talk more about that as the week goes along. Fun show so far. Mal Washington jumping in, talking volleyball as his daughter goes for a state championship tonight with Ponte Vedra. Just had Matthew Driscoll on. That's always entertaining and fun and brings up the energy of the show. He's out in Beverly Hills running around. And Pauley Pavilion tonight for the game against UCLA, the number 2 team in the country. What a road trip this has been for the Ospreys. Go check out UNFOspreys.com, how you can watch the game and for schedules and results. And they'll be back home on Saturday. Big basketball weekend around here. Saturday, it's UNF at home, 2 o'clock. And I'll be on the call on ESPN Plus for that one. But you come on out to the arena for the first look at the 2021-22 Ospreys. And then Sunday and Monday, it's a Jacksonville Classic. The FSU will play at 5:30 on Sunday, part of a 4-game schedule with the inaugural Jacksonville Classic, jacksonvilleclassic.com for more information on how to get tickets. And there'll be 2 games on Monday as well. We might even be doing the show out there on Monday afternoon at UNF Arena. So check out the Jacksonville Classic coming up this weekend. A lot of basketball over there at UNF Arena, Saturday, Sunday, and Monday. All right, I asked earlier with Coach, I said, what's like the holy grail, right, of college basketball? I've been to Duke. I've been to Kentucky, but not to see a game. I've seen it from the outside. That's it. Never been UCLA, although we're going out to LA in a couple of weeks. Might kind of slide by there. He mentioned Kansas. I've heard Kansas is really cool. And he said different. Now, Duke, I didn't see it in full throat. We went like it was a snowstorm. We were supposed to go, how about this? We were supposed to go to Duke, North Carolina, same night, like an afternoon night. And they canceled the North Carolina game. That's how bad the snow was.
Jeez.
So we got lucky that we actually got to see a game at Duke, but it wasn't like Duke, North Carolina. Like we would never got tickets to that. But Duke, so we haven't seen it like that. You know what I mean? But Duke was really cool. Duke is a really cool place, and you can tell why it's a cool place. It's just neat.
You should see those Duke tickets this year.
Are they pricey?
Oh, yeah.
I bet. Well, I mean, again, they didn't seat a lot, you know?
Well, that and Coach K.
Yeah, oh, yeah, good point. I wouldn't think I think the bigger arenas like Kentucky and even UCLA, I'm not sure I would feel it as much as I think Duke and Kansas. I think what Coach said was probably right on. So real quick, if you think about the other sports, like college football, what do you think?
Ohio State.
Really?
Yeah, that's the first one that came to mind.
More than like Notre Dame?
Yeah.
Oof, Notre Dame, so good.
That's what came to mind.
I'm just saying. NFL has to be Lambeau.
Yeah.
That's easy. How about baseball?
Yeah, Wrigley Field comes to mind on that one. I know where you're going, but Wrigley Field comes to mind, and then old Yankee Stadium was pretty cool.
Well, and you're right about that now. I will say this. I hate the Yankees. Wrigley Field's awesome. Fenway is awesome. There was something different, and like you could feel the ghosts at Yankee Stadium, especially like it was really cool walking out. Got a chance to walk out the dugout steps at Yankee Stadium. I've been in the locker room.
Yeah.
And it's like, holy cow, like Joe DiMaggio, Mickey Mantle, like Babe Ruth took this walk. Like, it is really cool. The problem is it doesn't exist anymore. And that's like, I almost feel like they should have kept Yankee Stadium up just for tours. Like,
it made sense. They would have made
Yankee
money.
Stadium doesn't. It's like nothing. They tore it all down. When they tore it down, they tore all those memories down. Like, if you go to Yankee Stadium, it is just not the same. You do not feel that.
Yeah, no desire to go to the new one. Been to the old one, it was
really
great.
Shouldn't. I mean, the food at the new Yankee Stadium is unbelievable from a concession stand food
I'm in
standpoint.
now.
It's amazing.
I'm all of a sudden in.
But it's nowhere near like, wow, I got to go there. Basketball's like NBA-wise, Madison Square Garden.
Yeah.
I mean, for
it's
me,
a hockey
it used
thing
to be
too.
the Boston Garden. So I guess it's kind of easy.
Yeah.
In that regard, baseball's interesting because you could pick the
There's a
trio
couple
of
options.
Them.
Tropicana Field, of course. Solid fourth. But
that you would want to play in college hoops, college football, MLB, NFL, NBA.
Hockey would be Madison Square Garden as well, probably. Or I guess hockey is more like a Canada thing, so probably where Montreal plays, the Bell Center. I know that's not what you're going for. I can see it.
Yeah,
but.
well, I just honestly I wouldn't feel I could see that. I don't have a feel for that.
Right.
I honestly think now, like in hockey, the outdoor classic that they've done is so cool that it's like, give me whatever venue is like where you're going. Like that would be like the Lambeau one or Wrigley or
Nashville this year.
You know, is that where they're doing Nashville this year? So
I think the
those
Lightning
are
are
pretty
in
cool.
it.
And that has no historic value to it, but I think that's one of the cool things the NHL has done. By the way, the Icemen are at home tonight at the arena. Not at one of those places, not outside.
Yeah, no.
Not
firmly
yet.
inside against a team from Maine. They came all the way from Portland, Maine.
Yeah, that's wild that the ECHL, you travel that far.
It's crazy.
And they're playing on back-to-back days, which makes sense.
And they got one more on Friday as well.
So that makes sense, right? It's one road trip. But it's just kind of cool that I think UNF basketball will play UCLA and Kentucky. You could cross two of those off the list just like that. 8 games to go for the Jacksonville Jaguars. We have Captain Rick on. We're going to get to this question. I want you to think about it for a moment. 8 games to go for the Jacksonville Jaguars. Right now, do you know whether it would be drafting? Detroit's 1, Houston's 2, Jags and Jets.
Jags, Jets. I think there's one other 2 winner.
I don't think
Miami.
So. No. Miami is 3 now.
It's 3 now, yeah.
So the Jags are picking top 4.
Yep.
They're picking 3 or 4 right now. Where do the Jags draft? With 8 games to go, are they in the top 5? Do they go to the top 10? Are they outside the top 10 with a few wins? Like, where do you think they will draft in the first round? Think about that for a moment. We welcome in Captain Rick Rouse right now, Florida Sportsman Fishing Report, here on ESPN 690 each and every day. Captain Rick, what's happening?
They're going to draft 8, and they're going to get an edge rusher because you can never have too many.
All right. I like it. I like that.
That's what I think. I tell you what, I'm feeling lucky tonight. Oh, my goodness, the fishing's been good for the last couple days. Just about anything you want to do. I know Jason Haddock yesterday on the J-Hook had, I believe, 3 sailfish, had a couple of 3 mahi, and 6 or 7 blackfin tuna. Our blackfin tuna showed up real well. Craig Sutton on the Fish-tastic, 8 mahi and 7 tuna. So there's been some hefty catches a big fish coming from out around the Gulf Stream. Also been very good bottom fishing there with a surprising number of grouper. Get a little closer to shore, about 40 miles off there, are cobia. They're popping up on certain wrecks. I know Steve Proctor, Dave Crisp, and I ran into some pretty good ones yesterday afternoon, and not much on the trigger fishing for me and snapper, but was mighty glad to see those cobia. Two of them were a throwback. The other one were 35 pounds. Today, the same thing. Quite a few cobia caught. They seem to be centered in that 35 to 45-mile range. Obviously, they settle there usually for the winter, and then we'll see them come back inshore once the water warms up a little bit. Ocean's calm, but it might be the last day. We're going to pick up a little bit of breeze tomorrow, and then a full-blown northeaster will be blowing on Friday. So I don't see the weather settling back down until Thanksgiving, Brent, but there's one thing you can count on. We'll be back to check on it tomorrow with another fishing report brought to you by Workman's Quick Fix Plumbing and CNS Landscaper, who are paying top dollars for top landscapers all over Northeast Florida right now. Thank you, Brent.
Thanks, Captain Rick. Appreciate it. Talk to you tomorrow. That is Captain Rick Riles, Florida Sportsman Fishing Report. Each and every day, Action Sports Jax on ESPN 690. And then, of course, Saturday morning, 7 a.m. on ESPN 690. All right, so I asked, the Jags right now would be picking, I've got it third, by the way.
Third?
So they win the tiebreaker over the Jets somehow. Well, that makes sense.
You're saying right now. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
I was like, there's no way that's your final
right now
answer.
At 2-7. I think probably because of strength of schedule difference, they would pick third behind the Lions and the Texans. And
do the Texans own that pick, by the way, or is that another one they traded? I don't remember.
That's a good question. I think actually, would that mean the Dolphins own that pick, or the Dolphins traded all the way? That's a good question. I got to look that up.
Yeah.
No, I think the Texans own that pick.
I know they traded all the other ones they had. And this year, when there's no quarterback, they can't get one.
They do. And then so the fourth pick would be the Jets. The fifth pick is right now Miami, but Philadelphia gets the Miami pick there. Philadelphia picks like a ton. By the way, Giants would be picking 6th and 7th right now. They've got a pick from Chicago. They would be picking 6th and 7th. The Jets would be picking 8th. They'd be picking 4th and 8th.
Wow.
I mean, that's unbelievable to have two teams picking 2 in the top 10 right now.
And so there's going to be 4 of the top 10 players going to New York is what you're telling me?
And actually, that's 3 teams. 3 Philadelphia picks right now, 5 and 10. That's ridiculous. Have we ever seen – they've never seen anything like that.
No.
If that were to take place.
And if anything, they're going to get better.
Philadelphia picks 5 and 10. What did I just say? The Jets pick 4 and 8. And the Giants pick 6 and 7. That is that's unbelievable if that were to hold form. I mean, there's a lot.
And they'll find a way to screw it up.
That is wild. All right. So, by the way, the Philadelphia Eagles will pick 5, 10, and 15 right now in the draft. 3 in the top 15.
It's nuts.
That is absolutely crazy. So, what I'm asking here is, you've got 8 games to go. You basically got to figure out what will the Jags' record be, how many will they win, and so therefore, what will they end up picking? I'm a believer right now the Jags are going to get 3 more wins. I think they're going to beat Houston. I think they're going to beat the Jets. And I think they're going to win one of the next 2 games. San Fran, Atlanta. I think it's hard for me to say they're going to beat them both. I also do think what's in play for the Jags is to win one more of those games. The Colts at the end of the year here at home. Tennessee on the road. Who knows what Tennessee looks like 4 weeks from now?
Yeah, they'll be sitting guys and whatnot.
Well, not yet for that, but I just don't feel like they're going to be this team that's thriving like they are right now. We're talking still 4 weeks away. And what else is in there? There's something else in there. New England, that's a tough one to say right now that they're going to go up to New England and win. But so I think there's in play for the Jags to still get 5. You got to remember, each win for the Jags I feel like is important. Last year, they were playing it out, right? And each loss was important. They were playing it out. This year, I think like each win means something to them. Like them to win the last game of the year means something. It might not mean a darn thing to Indianapolis. So I think they're going to continue to play hard. I think they've proven that. I don't think they're going to go get the golf clubs out and the vacations ready early, which some teams do. And I think each win matters. So I think the Jags are going to sneak some wins in December that maybe even people don't think they could get. So I'm going to go with 5 on the conservative side. But I do think it's possible they get to 6. I really do. And I don't think their offense can play much worse, and it looks like their defense is finding something. So if they got the 5 wins, who else won't get the 5 wins? Detroit, Houston, the Jets, Dolphins, I think, have a chance to get the 5
I think the
wins.
Dolphins get there too, yeah.
And the Jags beat them, so I don't know. That probably means they'll pick ahead of them. The Giants, I think, have a chance to get the 5 wins. Washington could get stuck.
I think what's tough in that division is Philly, who has 4 right now, Washington and the Giants, they all play each other 2 times still each.
Okay.
So, like, half of their games are against each other.
They're going to split.
They'll split.
Philadelphia, they're going to win probably more than 5, right? We saw their schedule. Atlanta's going to probably win more than 5. They're actually have been pretty decent at times this year. Minnesota's going to win more than 5. Denver already has 5. Cleveland has 5. Cincinnati has 5. And now you're starting to get into teams that are going to probably win 7 or 8 games.
Yeah.
So there's a really good chance that even if the Jags finish with 5 wins, they're going to pick in the top 10.
Oh, yeah. I have them picking 5th. That's where I'm at.
Gosh, that's crazy. 5 wins and still picking 5th. Now, it's a 17-game season, so that makes it a little different. I'm going to say somehow, these goofy things happen in the NFL. I think the Jags picked 7th this year.
All right.
I think they're going to pick 7th.
This is who I have in front of them in 5, by the way, which I assume you're going to have all these teams to get to 7. But the Lions, the Texans, in order, the Lions, the Texans, the Jets, and the Giants. I think the Giants are just out of control bad. And the Jags, so they only end up with 4 wins. Somehow the Jags end up with 5, and they get behind them.
Yeah.
So you need to find 2 more teams, though.
I need to either find 2 more teams or the Jags got to get me that 6th win.
That's true.
Pretty wild that you could get 6 wins in the NFL and still pick like 7th in the draft.
Yeah, especially when the team that's picking first might win once.
Yeah, that's pretty crazy. That's pretty crazy. So the bottom line is, I think even if the Jags go 500 the last 8 games, they're definitely picking in the top 10. And there's a really good chance they pick in the top 5.
Yeah, it's tough. Well, it's tough, but it's not at the same time because you want to win.
Good.
Yeah.
Like, that's actually the ideal scenario.
Yeah.
I mean, you're not going to the playoffs. If you could close the season 4-4 over these last 8 games, you could win. Well, let's go 3-5. 3-5, it's more realistic. 5 wins. You end up 5-12. You probably one off where a lot of people thought you'd be. I think like the Vegas over-under was 6. And you still pick in the top 5. And heck, to be honest with you, if you won a 6th game and you end up 6-11, that's a 5-game improvement, and you might still pick in the top 7.
Yeah, you're getting a good player either way.
I mean, that's actually a really good scenario for the Jags if they could have a good second half of the year. You've increased your win total by 4 or 5, and you're still picking in the top 7 to get players like last time you picked 7 was Josh Allen. So...
And it's a defensive draft. You're not going to get your wide receiver at 5, 7, or whatever.
But the Texas A&M kid, is he in play there? Is Jordan Davis in play there in the middle? Your wide receiver probably
Hutchinson
not.
from Michigan if you get there at 5.
So, wow, I mean, that's actually a pretty good scenario if you start looking ahead where you can, again, totally different than last year where everybody was rooting for them to lose to get the number 1 overall pick. You can root for them to win, 4 games and still finish potentially in the top 5, probably more like 7 or even 8 if you got to the 6 win total. And again, I don't think many people are betting on the Jags winning 6 right now. I think a lot of people, I don't think you think I'm crazy if I say 5, though. I think 5 wins is probably where they finish.
That's a realistic number.
I think it is. Yeah,
but you're not a realistic guy, so that's why you're at 7.
That's why I went to 6. Not 7. I didn't go 7.
You'll get to 7.
If you get to 7, you'd have to go 5-3 in an 8-game stretch. The last time the Jags did that was 2017. And they don't have that kind of team.
Well,
so
obviously.
That would be unlikely.
Hey, stranger things have happened.
Craziest thing is if they had somehow found a way to win that game, okay, if, right?
Right, yeah.
Then we would be staring at 6 or 7 in the conversation in our minds because they had won 3 out of 4. So very interesting, I think, to look at the Jags. We're not going to talk draft yet, but their draft position is going to be good regardless of how many W's they get down the stretch, unless they just clear the table, which is not going to happen. We'll be back. That is going to happen on ESPN 690 right after this.
Now, the First Alert forecast on ESPN 690. Mostly clear skies tonight, but with some fog developing later on as temperatures drop into the upper 50s. It'll be partly sunny and warm for Thursday. Highs in the afternoon will top out near 80 degrees. From the First Alert Weather Center, I'm CBS 47 and Fox 30 Action News Jax Chief Meteorologist Mike Burrish.
The Weather Center is brought to you by Beard's Diamonds, where now you can save up to 41% off during Beard's anniversary sale.
For the ones finding new ways to ensure the job always gets done. For the ones wearing many hats. For the ones who are hands-on, even from far away. And the ones keeping business moving forward. We are Grainger, offering supplies and solutions for every industry, with 24/7 support and experienced staff at over 250 local branches. Call, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Looking for a great career that can take you places? The Jacksonville Transportation Authority offers miles of opportunity, and the JTA is now hiring bus operators. We offer competitive pay and benefits with a starting wage of $16.43 per hour. We're offering hiring bonuses from $10,000 to $15,000. CDL training is available, and JTA will pay for relocation to Florida. And the Sunshine State has no income tax, so your paycheck goes further. Stop looking for a job. Get yourself a new career with the JTA.
In today's world, there's a lot of ways to know what's happening. At Action News Jax, we make sure our local stories have more detail, so you get every angle that impacts you. We dig for answers because you deserve the whole story. Taking time to provide context so you're clear on what's really going on. Because we know information is thrown at you 24/7. And we want you to know that Action News Jax is local coverage you can count on.
Boss, got some bad news in the Crooks R Us newsletter.
Uh-oh, what is it?
The headline reads, Safe Touch Security proven to be more dangerous to crooks than ever before.
Let me guess. Is it the guaranteed response? No, it's gotta be the two-way communicator, right?
Actually, it's the new integrated Safe Touch Security video cameras.
Ah, great. Safe Touch up in their game again.
Boss, now the homeowner gets notified on the Safe Touch app if someone even approaches their house.
It just doesn't seem fair.
Nowadays, getaway cars aren't even safe. Those Safe Touch systems catch everything.
Well, the good news is it doesn't change a thing. We still just stick to the Crooks R Us golden rule, stay away from Safe Touch houses. Remember that and everything will be fine.
Now, for a limited time, the Safe Touch Advantage plan includes free equipment and installation for new customers with an Advantage monitoring agreement. The Safe Touch doorbell camera, a $200 value, can be added for just $99. Call Safe Touch today at 888-723-8682 or go to safetouch.com. State license number EF233.
Do you know what it takes to be a successful business owner? If so, share your advice with someone who is eager to learn from your experience. As the nation's premier organization supporting small businesses, SCORE is always looking for people willing to offer their time and expertise to mentor current or aspiring entrepreneurs. We need volunteers from all areas of business, including accounting, finance, human resources, sales and marketing, as well as legal. If you're interested in joining our team, click on the volunteer tab at jacksonville.score.org.
The right time for the best water is right now. CGC Water Treatment wants to make sure your family's water is clean, healthy, and tastes great. CGC Water's done that for my family for a handful of years now, and it all starts with a Connecticut system. American-made and installed by the pros at CGC Water Treatment. Contact CGC Water Treatment now for your free water test. Connecticut systems remove up to 99% of contaminants. Remember, if you're not filtering your water, you are the filter. Don't be the filter. Connecticut makes the world's most efficient softeners, twin-tank, non-electric systems that use less salt and water during regeneration. Right now, save up to $600 on select system packages. Financing available with approved credit. Just call CGC Water at 904-552-1242 and ask about the Conway Club, the new service program that will save you money on salt, filters, delivery, parts, and labor. Call 904-552-1242 or visit cgcwater.com. Proud partners of the Jacksonville Jaguars and your local independent Connecticut dealer.
Are you looking for a venue to celebrate your special occasion that guests can't stop talking about? Call Riverside North Special Events and Banquet Hall. We specialize in anniversaries, weddings, birthday parties, corporate meetings, family reunions, fundraisers, graduations, and funerals. This unique, all-inclusive, full-service venue is the way to go. Call us today at 354-4162 and let us book your next event. All proceeds from bookings benefit the Clara White Mission.
The
NFL is on. Key, Jay, and now Max Kellerman.
Here's a guy that you drafted in the first round that you think could potentially be the successor to Aaron Rodgers in the future, but could he at least be a damn backup?
Keyshawn, J. Will, and Max. Weekday mornings at 6 Eastern on ESPN Radio and on ESPN2.
He's been pretty good. I think the biggest issue we have right now is the throw and catch. That was, I knew we had drops. I just haven't had time to count them all, but we're just trying to move on and trying to get the fight right rhythm and with the quarterback and wideouts and backs.
That is Urban Myers. They try to fix the offense for the Jacksonville Jaguars. Big story today down there is drops and the receivers. They got to get everybody cooking, and it would be nice if they did. Again, I started the show. I said this. I think their offense can play at a functional level, and actually, if they scheme stuff and they can trust stuff, you got a quarterback that can play. You got an offensive line that they continue to say is even better than our eyes are telling us, but at times has been good. I think it's a little leaky right now, but they could get Brandon Linder back. That's one of the stories. And you have Marvin Jones, who's done it. You have Laviska Shenault, who can do some things that other guys can't. And you have Jamal Agnew, who's got a little speed if you use him the right way. I feel like they shouldn't be overusing him right now. I don't think he's that kind of skill set guy. And they have Dan Arnold, who right now, I think you could make the case Dan Arnold is the biggest mismatch the Jaguars have.
What a moment. I mean, what a moment. You're right. You're absolutely right. But, how did we get here?
I know it. It's not a terrible thing, but, yeah, you'd want your mismatch to be like your number one wide receiver maybe and maybe a number two wide receiver.
Yeah.
And, their best player is James Robinson.
100%.
But their biggest mismatch might be Dan Arnold. His speed is legit.
It really is.
And so getting that guy in space. So that's why I say, and again, reiterate top of the show what we were talking about. You always go back and listen to the podcast, subscribe, Action Sports Jax on ESPN 690. Do the same on YouTube. That, hey, they can function and do some things if they can get in a rhythm that allows them to function.
Yeah.
And I really go back to the first 6 weeks. I thought they were moving the ball. I thought they had some critical bad calls, bevel, or bad plays from flea flickers to bad fourth downs that didn't allow them to get in the end zone. But they were not. They were functioning pretty good up and down the field. Go look at the yardage totals. Go look at yards per play early in the season. They weren't bad in those categories. They were running the football. Things were working off the play action. They actually weren't running it enough on a lot of occasions. And now the last 3 weeks without James, they haven't been running it well. Second half, they got going a little bit. Why? Because they put James Robinson in. And so if he can be healthy and stay healthy, they've got a chance to function as a normal offense, even without DJ Chark, Travis Etienne. They can still do it. But they got to catch the ball. They got to get the running game going. And then they got to scheme it the right way, I think is the moral of the story for me.
By the way, tight end guy. I love tight end, favorite position on the field, but had no idea who Dan Arnold was. So
yeah.
That's cool.
I've said this too. I think Dan Arnold's really good for the room. Really good for that locker room. Listening to him talk.
He's very good.
He's very good. And I think, who was it? Did somebody say it? I think it was Urban said. Urban said that, I had to make sure I didn't hear it somewhere else just to confirm in my own mind. But I think it was Urban that said, you knew he was a good room guy, good leader guy when, Carolina, when they tried to call for the trade, basically said, we got to go ask the room.
Yeah.
If it's going to sit okay.
Yeah.
That's pretty good.
That's the type of guy you want. Absolutely.
Yeah. I don't think I'd heard that before. Now, I'm sure it's been done, but I've never really heard that.
Especially from this isn't the Dan Arnold disrespect hour because we like the guy, but it's just we didn't know he was a person. I didn't, at least. I don't want to speak for you, but I didn't know he was a person. I didn't even know he was on their radar in free agency, which apparently he was, according to Urban. He said that.
He was, yeah.
I just didn't know he was, even real.
Well, I think what's crazy, too, is that, in reality, there's a really good chance Dan Arnold, in the offseason, free agency, didn't want to come to Jacksonville.
Yeah, I don't blame him.
He just didn't know the situation with Urban, didn't want to come, might have even taken less money to go to Carolina.
Which still, wasn't a great situation.
It wasn't great,
better
but it
than
was
ours.
A little more.
Well, was it though?
Well, you knew what it was. I think people, if you're a free agent, you don't know what the Urban situation is. How's it going to work? Like Matt Rule had been there now a couple years.
True. But you're pretty sure you're going to have Trevor throwing you the ball.
Well, and also if I'm a tight end, though, I also have Christian McCaffrey running the ball in Carolina.
That's true.
And Sam Darnold, you might be like, hey, this guy's not that bad. Like you can buy into that. They also had brought in what's his name? Anderson. They already have DJ Moore. And so
they drafted Treble.
I mean, really, if you're Dan Arnold and you take the money away from it, I can see why he went to Carolina and then maybe didn't want to come there. I don't know if he didn't want to. He might just said, hey, this is a better situation for me. And so the irony is he ends up in Jacksonville.
Like it or not, Dan.
And the question, I mean, seriously, I think the question is, and I think the answer is yes, is he the biggest mismatch you have on offense? Again, don't get caught up in the words here. I said, is he the best mismatch you have on offense? I think James Robinson is no question the best player you have on offense. But when you line up a tight end that can run, that creates mismatches on defense. And the problem is if they're not worried about anybody else, then that mismatch kind of goes away. If they could just get somebody to worry about one other thing on defense, that will open up Dan Arnold even more. But he's been a highly targeted guy. He's done a pretty good job catching the football. But I will say this. We praise Dan Arnold because we're getting him out as much production out of the tight end spot as we can remember. We also think that know that he's a mismatch, but it's not like he's played unbelievable. He cost the team an interception. Mm-hmm. He cost the team a fumble return for a touchdown. And he said on the podium Sunday in Indianapolis when we were there, that might have been the worst game he's played in a long time.
Hey, Urban's bringing the honesty out of these guys, I guess. When your coach is transparent, everyone's transparent.
So even he doesn't feel like he's playing his best football. And if he does start to play his best football, and some of these other folks do, I think he can get the offense going. I would not be surprised if the offense over the next month starts to go a little bit, like starts to move. Now, I'm not even comparing it to the last 3 weeks. The last 3 weeks have been atrocious. You finally got going in the second half. Otherwise, for a while, for 11 quarters, we were sitting on like a touchdown or two in 3 weeks. That was it. And so, but I really think this offense at some point over these last 8 games is going to go through a stretch where they score like 27, 30, 31, 28, like something like that, 3 weeks in a row. I do. I feel like it's going to happen.
And these 2 tight end sets with O'Shaughnessy and Arnold are going to be nuts.
Yeah, and listen, Linder, if he's coming back, I don't know if he'll come back this Sunday. I don't know if that will happen. Usually when they take these guys off, designate them back, that doesn't mean they come back right away. But if he comes back, you definitely upgrade over Shatley. And you've been missing guys on the offensive line here and there. So
it's almost the part you don't think about.
Don't be surprised if we're sitting here and going into the Titans game, we're coming out of the Titans game, we're talking about, well, the defense is kind of back to what we thought it was going to be, and the offense is, hey, now they're scoring some points. Why can't they play complimentary football?
Yeah, we'll probably do that.
Because that's what not great teams do. That's what happened, and they're not a great team. So
they are not.
But I think they'll get the offense going a little bit. Hey, we got Tulane against Florida State tonight, 7:30 on ESPN 690. That is happening. And
it is happening.
You can obviously listen, 7:30, it's coming up. And then Sunday, we'll have Florida State playing in the Jacksonville Classic right here at UNF Arena. You can go watch that, jacksonvilleclassic.com for tickets. You can listen to it on ESPN 690.
And it'll lead you right into Sunday Night Football.
And it will lead you into Sunday Night Football and also lead you into Austin's fight, UFC Fight Pass. Now, we won't have that. Now, that's what we should get. We should get to the point where we're broadcasting, and you and I are calling it.
Now, here's the thing, Brent. You're onto something because that's not illegal. Because I've been known. Yeah, I know.
That's not illegal?
No. I've watched people do it on YouTube where they watch it and just do their own. It's like practice commentary. We could do that.
I wonder if we can do it. I wonder if it's less legal if you broadcast it. Like, they're not they're putting
There's
it on
a couple
YouTube,
hundred people watching, though.
Yeah, that's a little different than like we have an FCC license type of thing.
Oh, yeah.
You know what I mean?
Maybe we'll do like a Twitter Spaces.
But maybe you can. Like, I don't know. Are there radio rights to MMA? Like, we should do a radio broadcast of Austin's
Well, ESPN
fight.
Plus.
Which, by the way, how long is that show? Because it might be over in 20 seconds.
Yeah, it might be quick. We just hop on. Hi, I'm Brent Martin. Okay. Oh, my God, he's dead. It's over.
Not Austin.
No, of course not. The other dude, Juan Adams. Obviously not.
All right, let's take one more break, and then we'll do golf picks, okay?
Sounds good.
We got killing people here in the cage.
Not Austin, though. I want to be perfectly clear.
Make sure you clarify that.
When I was envisioning it in my head, it was never once Austin.
Don't worry, the radio broadcast of the fight is down the road.
Yeah, we're obviously not ready.
This Sunday.
I'm obviously not ready for that.
Not approved yet by the management.
Hey, we'll get there.
All right. We will have Florida State basketball, though, tonight, 7:30 on ESPN 690. Tulane and FSU. Of course, our FSU report coming up tomorrow, football and basketball, right around 4:30 on ESPN 690. Brought to you by Willie Jewell's Old School Barbecue and Bono's Pit Barbecue. Tomorrow, we'll have the show on the road, 3 p.m. at Strings Sports Brewery. Come on out and join us then. When we come back, without the butcher, we make the picks, some golf picks, and we put a bow in the show. Next on ESPN 690.
What's up? It's Casey of Action Sports Jax, and I have more brand new local coverage to tell you about. Every Monday and Thursday after Action Sports Jax on ESPN 690 from 3 to 6, we're giving you more of what you want, more Action Sports Jax. From 6 to 6:30, myself, Casey Kurtz, and Brian Middleton will bring you Action Sports Jax Overtime. There's a lot of topics in sports, and sometimes we can't hit them all from 3 to 6. We'll hit them all on OT. So join us 6 to 6:30 every Monday and Thursday night right here on ESPN 690.
Want to introduce yourself?
Yeah, I'm Owen. I'm a cigarette.
Do you like being a cigarette?
No, I don't. Not really into killing thousands of people. Sorry, no filter.
Right.
What's your sign?
Pisces?
I'm a Cancer. Cigarette joke. But seriously, I do cause cancer. And heart disease. And strokes. I could go on forever. Unlike the people who smoke me.
The average smoker lives 10 years less than non-smokers. Quit today. Find out how at tobaccofreeflorida.com.
Do you have 3 ex-wives and your current trophy wife wants a life insurance policy 3 times the size of the policies you had to purchase for your previous mistakes? If so, you need to call Big Lou at Term Provider, 800-333-1750. Big Lou is intimately familiar with your problems, and if you're 50 or 60 years old and in reasonably good health, a $1 million policy should only cost about $100 to $200 per month. Big Lou may have a solution for your previous policies as well. You may even save enough money to lighten the load on your new $1 million policy. Remember, call Big Lou. He's like you, except he's only on number 2. Call Term Provider at 800-333-1750. That's 800-333-1750. For $1 million in term life insurance that you can live with. Call Big Lou at 800-333-1750. 800-333-1750.
We all hear the radio ads about the IRS. They tell you to be afraid, to be scared, and they try to frighten you into calling. I'm not here to do that. Tax Relief Advocates is different. TRA is here to tell you that if you owe money to the IRS, whether it's $5,000, $50,000, or $500,000, we have a solution. It doesn't matter if you're sitting in your car, at work, or with your kids. No matter where you are, call now. 800-530-9353. Don't lose hope. TRA can eliminate or reduce what you owe to the IRS. There is zero risk to you. If we can't reduce your tax debt, then you pay nothing. Our passion is taxes and helping individuals fix their IRS problems. We have a 5-star rating on Google and Yelp and an A+ with the Better Business Bureau. You don't need to be afraid of the IRS any longer. End your tax nightmare today by visiting us online at TRA.com or call 800-530-9353. That's 800-530-9353. Tax Relief Advocates. Real solutions for real people.
The right time for the best water is right now. CGC Water Treatment wants to make sure your family's water is clean, healthy, and tastes great. CGC Water's done that for my family for a handful of years now, and it all starts with a Connecticut system. American-made and installed by the pros at CGC Water Treatment. Contact CGC Water Treatment now for your free water test. Connecticut systems remove up to 99% of contaminants. Remember, if you're not filtering your water, you are the filter. Don't be the filter. Connecticut makes the world's most efficient softeners, twin-tank, non-electric systems that use less salt and water during regeneration. Right now, save up to $600 on select system packages. Financing available with approved credit. Just call CGC Water at 904-552-1242 and ask about the Conway Club, the new service program that will save you money on salt, filters, delivery, parts, and labor. Call 904-552-1242 or visit cgcwater.com. Proud partners of the Jacksonville Jaguars and your local independent Connecticut dealer.
Peace, y'all. This is Common, and I'm passionate about helping the Black community learn about lung cancer, a disease that disproportionately affects us, which is why I'm here with Stand Up to Cancer, to bring you the facts. Fact, In the United States, over 25,000 black men and women are diagnosed with lung cancer each year. Fact, our community is more likely to develop advanced lung cancer than any other racial or ethnic group. Fact, lack of access to health care, lack of clear resources for help, and mistrust in the medical system are not helping us beat this. Fact, lung cancer continues to be the leading cause of cancer deaths among black men and women. But there is a way for us to take back control of our health and change things. Learn all that you can about you or a loved one's diagnosis and treatment options. Get more information on lung cancer, screening, and clinical trials by visiting standuptocancer.org/lung cancer. Together we can bring about real change, because fact, change is possible, and it starts with you.
As you count your blessings this holiday season, consider helping local kids and families who need extra support. It's as easy as donating to Daniel, Florida's oldest child service agency. Daniel provides counseling to abused children and helps homeless teens find shelter and learn to live independently. Daniel connects kids with foster families and strengthens at-risk families so they can stay together. And they've done it for 135 years. Please help improve the lives of local children and families by donating at danielkids.org today.
For the ones finding new ways to ensure the job always gets done. For the ones wearing many hats. For the ones who are hands-on, even from far away. And the ones keeping business moving forward. We are Grainger, offering supplies and solutions for every industry, with 24/7 support and experienced staff at over 250 local branches. Call, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Hey, what's up, everybody? It's Austin Lane from Action Sports Jax on ESPN 690. Smart speakers are becoming part of everyday life, so why not use it to listen to the radio? Tell Alexa, Google Home, or any other speaker to play ESPN 690. Give it a shot weekday afternoons from 3 to 6.
He's been pretty good. I think the biggest issue we have right now is the throw and catch. That was... I knew we had drops. I just hadn't had time to count them all, but we're just trying to move on and trying to get the fight right rhythm and with the quarterback and wideouts and backs.
That is Urban Meyer. Been talking a lot of Jags today. We'll talk more of them tomorrow. We got our golf picks coming up. Right up the road. I almost did the show from St. Simon's Island today.
Yeah, man. I almost went until I found out I couldn't go.
Yeah, because you said no fans on
Wednesday.
No
fans on practice days this year. Sad.
So the competition starts tomorrow.
That would be correct.
Up there in Sea Island. It's an awesome place. You get a chance to go. If you haven't been, it's just a fun place to go for the day anyway. And then you watch a little golf. It's a great setting. It's a good golf course. I think the weather's fantastic, right? The next couple of days.
Yeah.
So it should be perfect. You remember when you the first time you drove a car by yourself?
Yes, actually.
You do remember that? Like, I was trying to think, like, I don't remember that. Like, I remember taking my driver's test. I don't remember, though, like, my first time I drove, like, without anybody else in the car.
I do. Is there a theme?
Well, the reason I ask is I got a text from my wife around, like, 4:30.
Oh, boy.
Kaylee got her driver's license yesterday. So then she had to go to a workout at 5.
She just said, I'll take myself.
And, yeah, we gave her permission to take herself.
Wow.
First one.
How you feeling? Obviously fine, since if you said it happened at 4, it's now 5:49. You haven't mentioned it
I didn't get a call yet. I kind of forgot about it. We were just rocking and rolling. But
yeah,
I think this has distracted me from the idea of it.
And now you're like, crap.
So now she's got to get home. She probably did the hard part, though, 5 o'clock-ish.
Yeah.
Driving through
How's her
traffic.
How's her vision?
Her vision?
Yeah, it's dark outside. I'm just being serious.
She's good vision. She's got, 2013 vision.
Is that good?
That's really good.
I thought 2020 was what you wanted.
If you could get 2013, you'd want it.
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
I guess so.
Anything, yeah, that's good.
Okay.
Really good. So I think her vision's fine. I'm not worried about that.
Okay, just checking.
I'm worried about her ability to drive the vehicle.
Is it big?
By herself?
Small?
It's not that big.
Mid-sized, as they say.
She's taking my wife's car, which is the Cadillac XT6, so it's kind of like a mid-size SUV.
I had a 2003 Ford Explorer.
Yeah, I had a Subaru.
Subaru.
But let me make it clear, this is not her car.
No, I know, but
she ain't getting one.
Well, that's a good little start, though.
Well, I guess.
Yeah.
But
you guess.
Yeah, no choice.
Sure.
She's not taking my truck. Actually, she drives my truck really well. She's a pretty good driver.
So you feel better. You feel good.
Yeah, I feel pretty good, but doing it by yourself is still a different animal.
Oh, yeah.
You know.
Are you guys...
Like, I can still be like, Kaylee, look out!
Well, yeah. That's a given.
She doesn't have that person now to say that.
That's true. Are you guys big, like, no radio people? Like, how does that play out?
I don't think we really talked about that. Obviously, the phone stuff, and is always kind of a conversation. But I don't... We didn't really say anything about the radio. Like, she might have the radio on a little bit, but it's not yet. Like, I think she'll probably be pretty cautious. I mean, going out.
Worried about other people.
Yeah. You know, the problem with kid drivers, in my opinion, if you learn, is do they have you punched home enough that you have to be a defensive driver because there are a lot of dumbass drivers?
Yeah.
Like, that's what they don't understand. They think everybody knows what they're doing. Like, we all know now that you drive for a while, like, that nobody knows what they're doing.
Yeah.
Plus, most people have phones, and they're still messing around with it.
Oh, yeah.
And so you really are not driving just for yourself. You're driving for that person that's next to you or coming at you or taking a right or a left.
It's a hard thing to get across for someone that, I mean, not recently. I've been driving for a while now, but more recent than you learned how to drive.
But I still, like, I feel like I'm a very defensive driver in that respect. Like, I don't trust anybody.
Hey, I've rode with you a few times, never once have been worried.
Yeah, I don't trust anybody, like, in the building. So I sure as hell ain't going to trust anybody on a highway.
That's true.
Or on the roads.
Yeah. The only time I was worried was when I thought we were out of gas.
My secret to life is trust nobody.
Well, how's that worked out for you so far?
Well, it's about worked out same as the Jags offense the last 3 weeks. So Trevor Lawrence might be feeling the same thing lately. Trust nobody.
Yeah, sounds about right.
All right, we got to get the golf picks.
So, back to the point of the story of the golf picks. As you mentioned, RSM Classic, right up the road, if you will. They will play two different golf courses that you mentioned earlier in the week. That'll be Plantation and Seaside. I believe Seaside is the one they'll play 3 times if you play the weekend. You flip Friday or Thursday, Friday, you'll flip. Saturday, Sunday, you'll play the same course. And obviously the RSM Classic, and I will give Austin Lane's pick now. I texted him some information. By the way, this is interesting. I want to tell you this. The last 3 RSM Classics, the winning score has been 19 under par in all 3.
Wow.
And they all 3 were in a playoff.
Really?
Yeah.
Is it Streb or something? Streb's had a lot of success there.
Bobby Streb. Robert. But
Bobby.
I call him Bobby.
I like how you call him Bobby.
Yeah, we're close like that.
So
Austin Lane says, RSM is a financial service, period. I'm taking the guy who looks like not good grammar, but he's taking the guy that looks most likely to have an insider stock tip that he can't wait to share with you.
So is this, okay, that's a little different than it looks like an accountant.
Yeah.
Because he would have went with Hunter Renfrow if he did that.
Yeah, a little different. I think this is a more insider trading type situation going on here, but nevertheless, Austin Lane, who outright won last week the Houston Open, is going with Luke List.
Luke List.
Who, without a doubt, looks like any other guy. So... And I sent him the link to the mugshots, and he went with Luke List.
I haven't seen odds on this, but I'm afraid to say the name because I bet like he's kind of a local guy up there, so he's probably got decent odds.
Don't say Webb.
No.
Okay.
I was going to say Jags fan. You know who I'm going with? Big Jags fan. Harris English.
Oh.
He's got to be amongst the favorites, though, right?
He is, but it's not a He is. He's in the 10K and fantasy and all that, but it's not very controversial because he's only played 2 times this year and he withdrew and missed the cut. He's got a little back injury, but he says he's fully ready to go. So a favorite, but not really. So we'll let you have it.
All right,
we'll let you have it.
Well, it's like you got to throw the Jag fan in there once in a while.
I didn't know that.
Yeah,
I like that. Even more.
He's probably. Well. I don't like Russell Knox, a big Jags fan now.
I knew that, but I didn't think that's where
obviously
you were going.
Billy Horschel.
Okay.
Jags fan. But like Harris English, I think he had Jags like on his bag.
Really?
For a while. I think like the Jags and him had a partnership.
Oh, that's cool.
So, yeah, it is cool. Like that, he's a good player now.
Oh,
if
great.
He is healthy. I didn't even realize he had a little bit of back injury. That's
a little bit.
Homework I was doing. I love that you know all this stuff. It's incredible that you know.
Yeah.
From Robert Streb to Bobby Streb
to
back injury for Harris.
Yeah, I'm living in it. I'm swirling.
Did you also see, I'm going to get your pick in a minute, but Matt Every, did you see I guess he's doing analyst work this week.
Good.
If that's Every might be fantastic. I've told
There's
you
a
this
chance.
before. He's
There's
an
a very good
unbelievable
chance.
soundbite.
Yeah.
Every might be unreal on the broadcast. I'm looking forward to that.
Well, I'm not going to lie to you. That might be the spot that he needs to be in because it's been rough on the course.
It's been rough on golf. But I think I saw a quote where he said, I don't care if anybody likes me out there anyway, so I'll say whatever I want.
Yeah. No, it's an interesting.
Which is true with him.
He's an interesting watch and listen for sure.
All right, who you got?
Yeah, I hate to do it, but look, I'm down a whole lot. Even if I win, I'm still in third.
You going Streb?
I'm not going Bobby Streb. Love Bobby Streb, though. Give me Scotty Scheffler.
Scheffler, I think he's a favorite, right?
Yeah, he is.
All right, that's fine.
I believe it's 8th and 2nd in his last 2 starts. He's playing great, and he was top. I think he was top 5 here last year. So he needs to eventually get a win. He still does not have a PGA Tour win. I think he gets it this week.
Really?
Yeah, I know. It's crazy.
He's a Ryder Cupper.
Yep.
And he doesn't have a PGA Tour win.
Not yet. He's got a couple seconds.
That is crazy.
I wouldn't say he choked it, but he lost to Horschel in the WGC match play.
I remember that. Yep.
And he was definitely the favorite.
All right, Luke List. I've got Harris English. I'm like the local guy, by the way. I take a lot of local guys. And you've got Scotty Scheffler. All right, fun show today. Thanks to Mal Washington. Good luck to Ponte Vedra Sharks and volleyball tonight, 7 o'clock. We'll have the highlights on Fox 30 and CBS 47. We'll also have this cool story coming up later tonight. You want to check that out with Dreams Come True. And thanks to Matthew Driscoll. They play UCLA tonight. You can listen to FSU basketball, 7:30 right here on ESPN 690. Of course, I'll see you on TV. And we'll be back at it tomorrow at String Sports Brewery. Have a good night, everybody.